You ready?
You know he's from Brooklyn. Oh no! He got the ring dirty. Wasted cannoli.
Just got to fall on the
Oh, look at that! Fireman carries suplex. 1, 2. Oh, 2.
It prohibits Jason Stanek from doing the cannoli.
He's just tempting. Jason Stanek might just pick one up from the ground and eat it. Don-O-Mite, he always makes
Watch me fall.
Jason Stanek stalking him. Reaper tries to sneak up behind him, but Jason Stanek, well aware of his surroundings. He's from New York. Oh, he rolls him right into the referee. Oh, the referee might be hurt. The referee might be ready to. He took a shot block. Oh no, we got that tray. We've seen what that tray. Oh my God! Oh my gosh, he hit it with the tray, the glass tray. He got him in the chronic crossface. That's how he wakes him up. Chronic crossface, Jason Stanek, he might be knocked out cold. No, this is unfair. Oh no, you got one. Oh no. No, 2, no. No. Oh no. Red Raper wins.
His fans are not happy here.
Oh, come on. No, Tony does it again. Tony with the acquisition.
These men are from Howard Beach.
You're right. Both from Howard Beach. They got the connection. They're from around the block. Oh my goodness, what a night of action. Grim Reaper team. We saw some great high-flying action from that triple threat that stole the show. The Reign, Javier, and Sabotage. Opening match, Papa Don, Richie Tyler. This is so much right here. This is what Victory Wrestling is all about. Wow, thank you, fans. I am Lawrence LC Queens Cross.
I am Earl McMuffin.
Or McMiz.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.
Every
Thursday night, you ask the questions, DT gives you his answers. No holds barred.
This is your chance to speak your mind and be heard about anything.
Q&A with Don Tony. And now, your host, Don Tony.
Oh, I forgot. I'm on the right side tonight. Oh, what's going on, my friend? Be nice if I heard you.
Yeah.
I thought that was my scoop. I said sweating.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Dude, people should have invested in oil back then. What the hell is that? What is that? It's like cream on the bottom of my chin, sweat everywhere. I tell you, I look back
The
at that.
cream is from a cannoli, right?
It's from a cannoli. It absolutely is. For those that have watched some of the stuff I've been playing, this actually is about 2 years earlier. And this was when I first came in. And I tell you, I look back at that stuff, and the first thing that, that I noticed right away is the amount of sweat. But not just sweat, like oily sweat. Like if you really, like if you look close, you don't see sweat like dripping down from me. It's just like a grease. And it's just amazing looking back at event after an event. I don't know what the hell it was, man. But I tell you, it's nice to go back to memory lane a little bit. Share some fun. I could laugh at myself. It's all good. And, for everyone out there, you got a treat tonight. Oh,
Nice
see, I
shirt,
got
by
to
the
get
way.
used to it. He's here.
Nice shirt, by the way. I like the shirt tonight.
Oh, yeah. If you want one, I get you one.
No,
Got to
I
hook
was
up.
just saying it's a nice shirt. It's fine, dude. I just think it's a really good looking piece of art.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you. See, if people notice the overlays are starting to change a little bit, trying to make it a little bit bigger so we could put more of us on the screen instead of like, graphics and shit like that. So, I tell you, the one thing, look, nothing against Shaheen, awesome artist. I tell everyone, use him if you want. But the only thing is like when you wear like nice little graphics, you want to pay tribute to someone, and then literally all you see is this. It kind of sucks a little bit. So, and yeah, look, we could do a show where there's no overlay at all, but it's nice to have a little bit of graphic work behind the scenes. So, everyone, tonight, remember last week, I tried to give it away, and yeah, I have to post a picture so everybody could see it, because I don't even know if Mish is aware we're giving this away today. Here it is. I want to thank, once again, Authentic Signings for hooking me up with this. Tonight on the show, I will be giving away these NWO trunks signed by Eric Bischoff. They are not used. WWE Hall of Famer. They are not used. No, they're not. They actually smell rather nice. Last week, I brought this up yesterday. When we first started Patreon, the first WrestleMania that we had with Patreon, I had given away like 16 prizes, WrestleMania. That's when we were first trying to get established and bribing everyone with gifts. One of the prizes was a ring-worn autographed pair of tights from Rey Mysterio. Right. And I never took it out of the plastic bag because they were ring-worn. But I remember back then, I don't know who it was, but somebody had said to me, take it out of the bag, give it a sniff. I wasn't doing a video at the time because I could have lied and just, said, hey, do you hear it? Look, I'm taking it out of the bag and, it smells like balls. I never took it out of the bag. Whoever won it, good for you, man. Nice little collectible to have. But tonight on the show.
Sealed in flavor. Yeah.
Sealed with a little flavor. Tonight on the show, we're going to do, just like we do every Thursday, Q&A, Ask Us Anything. No topic is out of bounds. It doesn't always have to be wrestling. Every night is your night, but especially Thursdays. Whatever is on your mind, you take the time to tune in to us live, then you basically have control of tonight's show. And we'll go until whenever, or 90 minutes or so, whichever comes first. We'll talk about the AEW rating. And there's one gentleman, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but he's a sniffing my jock about, oh, you said AEW's rating wasn't going to be affected by Biden yesterday and everything. Let me replay 45 seconds from yesterday's show. Next week, that match should be the highest quarter-hour rating in the night. And if that happens, I'm going to turn back and say, or maybe 2 quarters, and I'm going to say, why did that not close? I mean, I understand Sting, Hall of Famer, legend, larger than life. But to choose Sting getting beat up over Blood and Guts 5-on-5, that's been killing it every week in the promos and setting it up in the backstage brawls, how do you choose Sting and Darby Allin getting laid out over that? To go off the air. I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled. Unless, because of the Biden speech tonight that started at 9, is it possible that they thought they were going to lose a decent number of viewers to watch Biden's speech? I can't buy into that. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Now, all I'm going to say to everyone out there is tomorrow I will do the quarter-hour ratings for AEW. And when I do them, I don't care if 50 websites out there say one narrative. They don't do the research. They don't provide you the research. They said that the ratings on January 6th went down because of the riots that took place at the Capitol earlier in the day. Yet, when we got into the ratings, I pointed out that the week before's numbers, the news had a higher rating than January 6th. So explain that. I've always taken the extra step, and I will tell you this now without revealing anything. Biden's speech started at 9 p.m. yesterday. Not 8 p.m., 9 p.m. What's the excuse for the first hour of AEW Dynamite? Was everybody just looking at a blank screen instead of watching the first hour of Dynamite and just in anticipation of seeing what Biden had to say? And if you pay attention to the quarter-hour numbers that I do every single week, almost every week, AEW scores a stronger hour 1. Hour 2 goes down.
Right.
That's not the different. So when I get into it tomorrow and I add the percentage of drop per quarter and compare it to last week and the week before, you're all going to realize right away, these people online, instead of just saying, oh, they did 889, a little bit less, but still a very good number. No, they got to blame it on the Biden speech. Wait till I get into the quarter ratings tomorrow.
You're screaming into the vacuum of space. You're not going to be able to convince those people that don't have an excuse ready for everything that happens to AEW. You're literally screaming into a vacuum. Because you can break it down logically, factually, and it won't matter. Because as long as there's a way for them to sit there and say, well, this is what caused this, or this is what caused this. And the reasons the numbers are down is because of Biden. What can you possibly say to overrank that?
There's nothing. When I show everybody hour 1 tomorrow, Biden wasn't on yet. I want people to give me the excuse. Nobody stopped to think, like, wait a minute. Biden didn't come on until an hour into the show. What if hour 2, the quarters are stronger than hour 1? Some of the quarters are stronger. What's the excuse?
There's always going to be an excuse, though. That's the premise of it. There's always going to be an excuse.
Yeah. By the way, how you feeling?
Feeling better, much better, actually. I think I have some stomach issues. I've been taking a lot of probiotics over the last couple of days, and I felt amazingly better.
Good.
So I think it has something to do, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's not like I've been eating poorly. If anything, I've been eating really well for the last month and a half. Pretty lean for the most part, not really doing too much junk food eating. And it's shown in a couple of ways, but for whatever reason, I think my stomach, my tract is a little bit messed up and stuff like that. So I'm trying to take some probiotics and clear everything out. And so far it's been pretty helpful and I feel a lot better from it. So
I'm glad you're feeling better. Seriously, I'm glad you're feeling better.
It was rough, dude. I literally had about a week with no energy. Like I couldn't even crawl out of bed. It's been really, really bad. It's really odd too, because it's not, I mean, with everything going around, you know, the first thing people ask you is like, "Oh, you got the vid?" And it's like,
yeah, a lot of people ask me. I said, saying nothing.
Well, I didn't have any symptoms of it, so I wasn't really thinking that. You know, I didn't have the migraines, I didn't have the fever, I didn't have, you know, the cough, other than a little bit of a smoker's cough, but I didn't have the cough. I didn't have the chest pains. I didn't have anything except for the lack of energy. And I'm like, that's such a stretch to have only one symptom and call it, you know, anything else. So I waited out, you know, I started eating some yogurts with probiotics in it and stuff like that and cleared out my system. And I noticed literally within hours, I felt amazingly different. So there's something going on with my stomach, my intestines, and I'm trying to fix that up. But yeah, no, it was a night and day situation. But I was so bad, DT. I could barely even keep my eyes open. And it wasn't like lack of sleep, you know, because I was trying to sleep it off. I mean, I think at one point I had almost 30 hours of sleep straight. Wow. And I still didn't feel good. So,
yeah.
Well,
I'm glad you're feeling better, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for your well wishes last week. You know, yesterday I didn't want to talk about it. To be honest with you, I don't think I want to talk about it today either. I will tell everybody this. I don't think I should have had the video prepared to show everyone for a good laugh. I don't know if I even have it available right now, but a lot of you may remember about 5 years ago, I installed security cameras in my office. And sure enough, the security cameras caught me falling off of a ladder. And I tore up my shoulder pretty good. For 2 years, I dealt with shoulder and bicep pain. Finally got the test done. They said it was torn. And had the surgery. Didn't think my midsection had anything to do with it. So anyway, I'll get to what I will reveal today. About 2.5 years ago, I had diverticulitis surgery for my intestine. Had really horrible pain in my midsection. Had my gallbladder taken out also. And I still get this really strange pain in my lower, right above my rib. It's this right quadrant. This is a deep soreness. Sometimes when I bend down, you actually feel something pop out. And I've had my fiance and my mother like touch it, and they're like, "What is that?" It feels like a jawbreaker, like a little gobstopper. So anyway, last week I had blood work done, I had a CAT scan done, and an ultrasound done. And, you know, the good news is that it revealed pretty much nothing. However, when I saw my doctor and we recreated what happened, she said, "I know what that is." She says that's almost never detected in a CAT scan or an MRI. She said, "I guarantee you that I have a diaphragm hernia tear, that the diaphragm rests right above the liver, right below the rib cage." And she said, "Did you have any serious fall like years ago?" And I said, "Yeah, about 5 years ago." She says, "I guarantee you must have tore your diaphragm at that time. It was never detected because it's almost impossible to have it detected in a CAT scan MRI. And over the last 4 or 5 years, you lift something heavy, you do this, you could have torn it a little more. Now it's torn to the point that literally like your spleen could pop out when you bend a certain way or twist." So it looks like we finally figured out what it is. So in 2 weeks, I got to go see a surgeon and get that corrected. The only thing that does suck is something else was revealed in the results, something that runs in my family. And, you know, I had talked on Patreon Tuesday, just a general chat, and I was talking about fatty liver. I had a really bad fatty liver 2.5 years ago. That's one of the reasons why I went on keto too. And fatty liver popped up on these results again. So up until yesterday, I thought, okay, maybe the fatty liver is inflamed and that's what this pain is. When I saw my doctor yesterday, she's like, "Oh no." She's like, "Look at this and look at this." I still have fatty liver, but it's like 80% better than what it was 2 years ago. So she says, technically, you have fatty liver still, because anybody with just 5% of fat on their liver is considered fatty liver. It's not like your entire liver is covered in fat. She says, you're almost cured from that. She said it's something else. But, you know, I'll just tell everybody, my father, my uncle, my other uncle, my great uncle, my grandfather, my father, they've all battled prostate cancer in their life. And over the last 6 months, my PSA number has skyrocketed. And I am now within 2 digits of when my father had prostate cancer 20 years ago. So I have to see a urologist, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And, you know, we looked at my father's numbers from 20 years ago compared to mine, and it seems like, you know, I'm in dangerous waters right now. So now it's either I got it or I'm on the verge of getting it. And unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do to prevent it. I got to just deal with it. So that was one of the only crushing thing that came out of it. I mean, it's amazing. Everything, my kidneys, my liver, everything came back pretty damn good. But out of everything, my prostate is enlarged and my blood work came back and my PSA number like tripled in 6 months.
So what's next? What do you have to do now?
Well, if it ends up that I do have prostate cancer, then I'm going to probably go the same route as my father. They put like literally radiation seeds inside you, and you can't be around children. You can't be around any pets for about 6 months. And that's going to crush me because, you know, I'm very close attached to my bird. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle it. Or I have to do, you know, some type of, I don't know. I didn't even look into it yet because it's not, I don't want anybody to think that I have it. I mean, we don't know yet. But when you look at the numbers compared to my father 20 years ago, it's like this close. So, you know, that kind of rattled my brain a little bit. But, you know, the one good thing is, you know, my grandfather lived to be 94. My father is in his 70s. One of my uncles is still alive. None of them died from prostate cancer. So, you know, my family has a history of beating it. And the one thing my doctor said to me is like, look, if you got it, be glad that they detected it so freaking early. So, you know, that's probably the consolation of it all, but it's like, damn, you know, it would have been nice.
Well,
to just
what are the necessary steps to prevent yourself from getting prostate cancer? I mean, obviously, you're saying bloodline. I mean, it's in my bloodline too. My grandfather died from it. He beat it once, and the second time it took him out. My uncle had it, and he recovered. But in doing so, you know, he lost a lot from it. So it's in my bloodline on, you know, my parents' side. But what are you going to do in order to prevent it?
There's none I don't think you can do. My father, I mean, if anybody sees like growing up Don Tony stuff and you see pictures of my father from 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, my father's always been the poster child of infit, triple degree black belt. I think the highest he weighed at the time was maybe like $190 or 195. He was one of the most fit people. And he still got it. My uncle, my grandfather, it just runs in the family.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, I've been run down during the day that I do get sometimes days where it'll be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll go home for lunch. Instead of eating, I'll just tell the Amazon thing, set the alarm for 2 p.m., and I just go to sleep for an hour. And, you know, some days you get 2-3 times during the day where you just want to put your head down and sleep for an hour. I don't know if it's related to that, but, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I just figured I'd give everyone a little quick update. You know, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'll try my hardest not to, because losing sleep ain't going to suddenly heal it or cure it. So whatever I got to do, I got to do. But, you know, maybe my experience will help someone else out there if they get it. Even with this or fatty liver, whatever it is, you know, someone may tune into the show, may have it, or down the line get it. Just like a lot of you out there, I appreciate all the feedback that some people have made their decisions to get the shot for the vaccine or not get it based on, stuff we talked about. Not just my experiences, but a lot of you out there as well. So definitely, that's awesome. By the way, here in New York, they announced today that they expect July 1st, and I heard it may even be earlier than that. July 1st, everything reopens 100%. You hearing any of that in Chicago?
Well, we've already started to the tier 5 here in Chicago. So everything is open now. Like everything is currently open right now in Chicago, but there's still limited capacity. There's still limited capacity at restaurants. There's still limited capacity in grocery stores, limited capacity in box stores. But as far as businesses go, yeah, they're all opened up. I think even next Monday, the girlfriend's job is all returning back to work, and they're all going back to the offices and stuff like that. So it's already open here in Chicago. It's still underneath a very protective order. Obviously, they're following the new rules that the CDC and the World Health Organization put out about masking. About obviously now outside, it is optional for you to wear a mask. In certain scenarios, they still suggest wearing a mask if you're in groups, even outdoors. If you're in groups of 100 or more or something like that, they still advise people to wear masks. But if you've noticed, they've now become a lot more lenient on conditions that you're supposed to be masked up in. Indoors, you still got to wear a mask. They're still pushing that. They're saying that that's still, very much on the table. I don't see any time soon where they're going to take that off the table. I don't see people demasking indoors, besides obviously if you're in your family and stuff like that. But I mean,
right.
In public places, I don't see that changing anytime soon. I don't even see it changing this year.
Well, I think because this virus is going to be around for a couple of years, there's always going to be some type of restriction, but they're going to push the vaccine cards, which I know some people are still against, but I already heard a bunch of schools, they're requiring all their students to be vaccinated before, otherwise they can't go back to school.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is if your children are not vaccinated. Now, I don't know about New York, but Chicago's opened up the doors now for everyone to get vaccinated. So it's no longer an age group or a health group to get vaccinated. Now anyone 16 or older can go get a vaccination.
Yeah.
Is that that in New York too?
Yeah, it's now that way also. I've been saying everybody here, by July or August, it's going to be the beginning of normalcy again. I mean, it's going to be a new normal, but you're going to see wrestling promotions have live fans and in abundance. After UFC had their event the other day, and you're not going to see a massive outbreak or a super spreader event. If people noticed, and I brought this up yesterday, WrestleMania, it was not a super spreader event. I mean, you had a couple of douchebags online that were just looking for attention, that claimed they got COVID from WrestleMania, and every time they were challenged to post your results, blacking out your personal info, but post your results. And no one did. People just say some of the wildest shit just to get attention for some reason. But we came and gone was Valentine's Day, Easter. I mean, Easter, I know not everybody celebrates Easter, but Easter is a huge family event. And with church and going out to eat and gatherings, no outbreak, no super spreader, even spring break to a certain extent. Like you heard some young people getting it because a lot of young people don't even think it's a priority to get vaccinated, but it hasn't been the numbers that they... Remember that woman from the CDC a month ago that she started crying on video and she's like, I'm petrified of this next wave that's coming, and it's just... Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Brazil right now has the second most deaths in the entire world. And Brazil, I think, was one of the places where the alternate strains of COVID are based. So I understand. It's kind of like there's proof behind what she said, but at the same time, she was just lighting fires.
Gaslighting.
Yeah.
So, but, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, but obviously the light is at the end of the tunnel. And, 2 months is going to be like this. Think about it this way, everybody. WrestleMania was a month ago. Right. So just double that, and that's when you're pretty much going to have a lot of things going back to normal. Every wrestling promotion will be able to have fans, and a decent number of them. I mean, they may still require wearing some masks, but you're going to see venues. And I know, I'm sorry for bringing this up 1,000 times over, but, I remind everyone out there, when you look at like Ring of Honor, if you look at Impact Wrestling, with the exception of when they rent out the very tiny buildings, when you look at other feds out there, even WWE, before COVID struck, how many times did you read WWE's house show, 4,000 people attended in a 10,000-seat building? WWE, other than Raws, SmackDowns, and pay-per-views, and Saudi Arabia and going overseas, WWE would only fill up about half the building. So when you have a lot of states that say, venues could go back to 50%, I got news for you. Before COVID, that's normal for WWE. So 2 months from now, even if they say venues only 50%, that'll hurt baseball. That'll hurt major sports. But for pro wrestling, a lot of venues, they were only filling up half the building anyway. So it's pretty much back to normal. So I can't wait. I'm really excited. I mean, it's, everybody use your head. There's a little bit of common sense. You could see there's a ton of politics involved, all of this. And I still believe that the announcement of the lifting of the mask restrictions outside, I think they did that deliberately because Biden was going to talk the next day. I truly believe that.
Could be.
Yeah. So Philip Maffey, he lives in Florida, but he thinks it's possible that the mask restrictions may be a lot less in 2022, maybe even no more masks by the end of, I do believe that when you get down to levels of flu, we're not required to wear masks for flu. Yes, COVID is more catchy. Then it's a hell of a lot easier to catch COVID than flu. But when the numbers are that low, they can't instill mandates. They can't. So I agree with you. In 2022, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be much earlier than that. Hopefully, we don't get these strains that, the vaccines cannot handle. So far, the vaccines handle the strains too. And it is legit. The quicker everybody gets vaccinated, I don't mean 100%, but the quicker everybody goes out there that wants to be vaccinated, the quicker you do it, the quicker this gets out of there. Because if you got a building of 1,000 people, and 700 of those 1,000 are vaccinated, and another 100 to 200 have had COVID, but didn't get vaccinated, that leaves 10% of the group that are exposed or can be exposed. Of that 10%, you might have 1 or 2% that have it, and even if they do give it to a few people, you're only talking about 10 out of 1,000. Right. So, it's not going to be a pandemic anymore.
No, I mean, it'll stop. And as the vaccinations become more and more common and more people get vaccinated, there'll be less use for a mask. I think the idea of masks, though, will forever be a part of our society. I think there will eventually be a CDC or a World Health Organization mandate that says, okay, people, you can take off your masks. If you're in a vaccinated area and it's a vaccinated place, you can take off your masks. You can wear masks optionally. But don't you think that people will still continue to wear masks even after COVID is done and gone now?
I drove around my neighborhood today just to view the neighborhood to see, how people were handling the masks. And what I noticed is, I'd say about 3/4 of everybody who was walking around or riding bikes or jogging, 3/4 of them did not have a mask on. I saw more people wearing masks when they were near stores and, walking outside that way.
Well, it's still mandatory that you have to wear it indoors. So, I mean, if you're going shopping, you have to wear one.
Sure. But even when they were walking down the boulevard, they had the masks on. I mean, I saw some people that didn't have a mask on, and right before they entered the building, they put the mask on and go inside. Me, I wore the mask all day today. I mean, I went today and got a sonogram of my heart and, got a couple other tests done just to rule out other things. And I wore the mask when I left my house. I wore it before I went into my office, after. I think it was more force of habit. Plus, I'm one of those right now that is a little worried. Like, I don't want to deal with bullshit. Online, offline, online as far as inside a building, online, internet, offline. I don't want to deal with anybody's bullshit, period. And, like, I'm just thinking to myself, even if I'm walking from my car to my house, like, some people have given dirty looks in the past if you walk by without a mask on, even if you're fully vaccinated. And the rule was always, if you can't be more than 6 feet from someone, wear a mask. When I'm coming home from work, there's nobody around me. So I don't put the mask on a lot of times. And I would see people giving me dirty looks. And, I just don't want to run into an asshole that I'm walking, like down the block towards my office. I'm not inside any building yet, but because I'm not wearing a mask, my neighborhood has those type of people that, more often than not will say, why the fuck are you not wearing your mask? Show a little respect for other people. That's how a lot of people act in my neighborhood. So, by the way, I'm going to kind of regret this, but I'm having another one of these, everyone. If you like coffee soda, you like coffee soda, right?
Not too familiar with it. I mean, I've had a couple of coffee drinks before, but...
Coca-Cola coffee. This is the zero sugar one. Okay. But my fiance has had the one with sugar, and she said it's outstanding, and she doesn't like coffee soda. So I'm actually going to have a sugar-free Coca-Cola coffee soda now. So hopefully the caffeine doesn't keep me up tonight. So
sounds like it would. I mean, it's Coca-Cola and coffee. You should be up all night.
You don't understand, man. Even Coke Zero, I drink it, and it's like I feel like I'm in heaven because I've been so restricted with this freaking diet,
Gotcha.
Branch Oak. Branch. What's going on, man? How much is Mish being paid to plug Ms. and Mrs.? The show is beyond awful. Also, when is the debate between myself and Joey Numbers going to happen? And by the way, I know a lot of you, and if you're in the chat room right now, speak up. A lot of you, the last couple of days, like, is Mish and DT going to still have the Mickey James Trashgate debate? I know it sounds like a catchy name, but, if you still want us to have a little discussion on that, it's your show tonight. You let us know. But I don't know, Mish. I almost said Ms. I don't like the reality shows. But I tell you, Ms. and Mrs., I like.
Yeah, most people don't like reality shows anyways. Let's be honest. It's a very cheap format, and it either works for some people or it doesn't. I think it's fine. Ms. and Mrs. has funny moments. It's worth the watch. I mean, I guess it really depends on, are you a person that likes reality TV? If you don't, then there's nothing that'll do good. There's no, if you don't like the genre of shows of reality television, then it doesn't matter what, you could plug in anything. You could plug in any reality TV series in there, and it's just going to be hate. So, no, I don't get paid for it. I do enjoy watching it. And I don't know. I think it's funny at times. I think the mother's funny.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
The family has, is comedic gold at times. Even when some of the stuff is forced, it's almost meta forced. Like they'll I mean, reality TV will put people in situations. Let's not bullshit ourselves. It's a lot like wrestling in that way, where they'll put, Miz and Maurice into situations, and then they get wacky and zany with it. But I think sometimes the over-the-top zaniness is almost a nod at look how stupid this is. You know what I mean? So I kind of appreciate it a little bit more because of that. It's almost self defamation, but at the same time recognizing what the show actually is. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking it's a little bit too intelligent for itself. It presumes upon itself, but
of all the reality shows that I turn on for a few brief moments, Ms. and Mrs. is like the most down to earth. Like,
right.
We can laugh at ourselves. You know, we don't have egos. Maurice has an ego. Maurice has a huge ego, and probably deservingly so. But Ms., I'm telling you, man, I know a lot of you know this. I mean, we've talked about it. You as well. You know, we're fans of the Miz, and that 24 special that WWE did. You know, I really appreciated the fact that Cena talked about it, especially when you think back of that storyline feud that they did. You know, it's it really, really shows you Miz's worth in WWE, and that guy is definitely one of those guys that does not need a belt. But if there was anybody to take the belt off of at that time that would have given a jolt, it was definitely Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Because if Bobby Lashley would have beaten Drew, I think even if it would have been at Mania, I don't know. I think it would have felt differently. You know, I think a lot of people out there recognize and appreciate how hard Drew McIntyre has worked during COVID. But Miz people got so, you know, triggered over it that, you know, Lashley was definitely not one of those that we thought was going to beat Miz for that championship. So if you all haven't seen the 24 yet of Miz, go out of your way and check it out. And as far as the debate with myself and Joey Numbers, here's the deal. We were going to discuss politics. We were going to discuss the election. But, you know, there were things that happened along the way. Joey took ill, was not online. And, you know, there was a lot of things about Trump that I started to truly dislike. And, you know, I found myself agreeing with him in a lot of ways where 4 years ago I would have disagreed. Not having a debate with someone simply to have a debate. You know, it's going to be because we truly have a difference of views on topics. But, you know, Joey is definitely welcome to come on to one of these Q&As, hang out. Once I finish, you know, mastering the Zoom software, we'll do our own version of AEW Heels, and maybe he comes on and we have this orgy of video discussion. But that's the reason why it didn't happen. So, Crazy Cruiserweight. This is kind of a loaded question live on the spot, but maybe 5 come to mind for you. 5 superheroes that deserve their own movies. Could be from Marvel or DC. And he gives his picks.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, he gives his picks, as you could see on the screen.
Yeah, Nightwing, Namor, Martian Manhunter, Zatanna, and Booster Gold. I would say Nomad.
Good choice.
I guess giving their own. I'd give U.S. Agent his own, but considering what they did to him with Falcon and Winter Soldier, I ain't touching that shit with a 10-foot pole. Youngblood, back in the Image universe, Turok. Although I think there technically was a Turok movie, but I'd probably redo Turok. I know there was a video game for it back in the day. Armorines and let's see, somebody from DC. I don't know.
So many have had their own series.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton left. I guess in Marvel, I'd probably go with Gambit, maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a name at this point.
Gambit's an interesting choice, man.
But maybe, yeah.
That's cool. I like the list. All right. I thought that was going to be a little bit tougher. So it's good. That's good choice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Kavan says the Muffin Man from Shrek. You're nuts, man. The Muffin Man from Shrek. You know what the funniest thing about all of this right now? No
Actually,
bullshit. And Mish knows exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these names. You guys are talking
okay. I was
about.
gonna say, do you know if like now I know Red Sonja, there's a movie about Red Sonja, but it's like a weird animation movie, like it's Red Sonja and Vampirella. I'm kind of curious why they haven't done more Vampirella, like an actual live movie. I don't think they've ever done a live movie of Vampirella or Red Sonja. But I'm curious. So
Okay. All right. Harrisby, I like this question. Would Right to Censor have thrived in the original ECW, especially as goons for Cyrus and the network?
yeah, that would have been an interesting crossover because I don't think Cyrus the Virus was really on the same level as Right to Censor. Cyrus the Virus was more of the network executive, kind of forcing his way through and overriding ECW and everything else like that. Right to Censor was almost fanatical. It was almost compared to a way of life, which was really interesting because Right to Censor wasn't just about what WWE programming was. They didn't want you to see tits at all. They didn't want you to see violence at all. I can
still
see how
remember Stevie Richards running down the rampway with the table.
Right.
That was freaking great.
I mean, I
man.
can see the correlation. I mean, I think that's a good correlation, but I don't know. I think that it would have actually watered down the Right to Censor group if they were in ECW like that.
You know why Right to Censor would not work in the WWE today? Even though
we're already censored?
Yes. I honestly, as ridiculous that may sound on the surface, everyone, Mish just gave the most ingenious answer. WWE would have to tote that line again or cross it in order to censor. I know this is a horrible comparison, but you know, a lot of people today with education want to delete history, especially, you know, the mistreatment towards blacks. And I've said it many times, if you do not teach our kids about Harriet Tubman and Jackie Robinson and others, then you never understand why they're heroes. If you don't know the villains, then you don't know why they're heroes. If you erase all of the negative people from back in the day, then those people are not heroes anymore. She was just a woman. You know, oh, somebody rode a bus, but you don't know the story behind it. So with Right to Censor, and I know that's a dramatic comparison, but my point is with Right to Censor, you need to censor something in order for it to work. And you need to censor something that people really, really like in order for it to work. Right. So WWE would have to go almost attitude-ish, because then you would need to censor it. If everybody's already covered up, there's no need to cover anybody up. I think Impact Wrestling came the closest with Joseph Ryan, and they did not go with it. Obviously, Joey Ryan shot himself in the foot, but Joseph Ryan, I truly believe that could have seriously gone to a nuclear level, especially if they had fans in attendance. But Right to Censor these days, yes, Rosa Parks, beautiful example. Rosa Parks, Les. If you take away the evil that happened to her, why is she a hero? You want to go comics? If you take away the Joker and you take away all the evil villains, why is Batman a hero? Just some freak wearing a costume. You need to know the bad people. And this is another thing, too, and I don't mean to get really serious for a minute. A lot of you last week sent me emails. You want to see the video of Stanley. I'm going to show it to you next week. But I will say this. I watched the Biden speech today, and I watched the response after. I saw the garbage that happened on social media yesterday, and this is my take on the overall situation. Kamala Harris was asked this morning, Good Morning America, is the United States a racist country? And she said no. All right. There are a lot of people out there that use race as every leverage point to put one up on someone. You support Trump, you're a racist. You support cops, you're a racist. You're white, you have privilege. And the one thing that really disturbed me about Biden's speech and others out there is good is infectious. You see other people doing good things for others. It feels good and it rubs off on you. I have told so many stories about Mick Foley and witnessing some of it in person with my own eyes. That man rubbed off on me, and you want to help people also. When you see videos of, oh, look at this person, they rescued an animal that was abused and everything like that, and everybody's online, oh, that's so sweet, and this is and that, blah, 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 blah. We need to focus on the good. The more good, it becomes infectious. You want to do good as well. When you see tremendous storms happen or devastation, and every person, white, black, straight, gay, it doesn't matter, everybody comes together to rescue. You see everybody together rescuing each other, you get out of your car and you want to help rescue also. If you're driving by and there's devastation and everybody is fucking looting, you're either going to do one or two things. You're either going to step on the gas and get out of that neighborhood as quickly as you can, or you're going to pull over and loot as well. You're not going to get out of there and say, no, everybody, stop. But if there's devastation and everybody is helping everybody, you get out of your car, you're more inclined to help as well. We got to stop with this toxic shit in this world that everything is racist and we're toxic and this and that. Focus on the good. The more you focus on the good, the more people feel good. That's why there's all this crazy shit going on in this world, because when you're in bad neighborhoods and all you're fed is hopelessness and Trump and bad cops and white privileges and that, I mean, why wouldn't people want to hate my guts or hate someone else's guts? So I'm sorry for the little bit of, raw discussion. We kind of do that on Thursdays, Mish, once in a while. But we got to stop with this toxic climate, man. From social media to walking down the street, this shit's got to stop.
It would stop if there was legitimate change, but the problems with everything is people talk about change. People will convince other people to change, but nobody actually changes. So that's where we're at in this country. As long as you tweet about change, you've done just enough to do nothing.
Yeah. That's why when Chauvin got convicted, I was disgusted online because immediately I see all the posts, oh, now could we all get along and get together? And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, we were all united in the first place that Chauvin should be fried. There was no dispute. I didn't see anybody. I don't know anybody that said, oh, he really shouldn't go to jail and this and that. No, everybody wanted to see him fried. You don't wait for a tragedy to want people to get together. It's just those tweets that make you feel good, get a whole bunch of likes, and that's not enough. That's not enough. Go out and do it. And do it when people aren't watching. That's when you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it and you're FaceTiming it while you're doing it, are you doing it because you really want to do it and you care, or, oh, that's going to make me look like a superhero?
It's going to make you look like a superhero.
Yeah.
That's why people do it. But you know what? I don't even care at this point. If you want to go out there and do change and put your video up on TikTok, fine, as long as you're doing something about it.
Yeah, I agree. Look at that black cop.
Anymore. Yeah.
Look at that black cop in California that wants to just talk to LeBron. Why is it taking a week for an answer? If you truly want this world to get better, what is so bad about a black-based basketball player getting together with a black cop and having a discussion? Why does it have to involve crazy-ass media? Why does it have to be talked about and tweeted a million times? That answer should have been answered in 5 minutes. Right now, over the last week, things haven't gotten better. People are still getting shot in Chicago and everywhere else, and those two guys are not going to be able to stop it overnight. But this idea that, things have to be thought about and this, fuck out of here. If you truly, don't want to, create chaos and hatred, you could start literally in 30 seconds. You could start immediately. That's why I fucking hate these people out there. That's why I don't follow politics anymore. That's why I really don't even pay attention to social media much anymore. I kind of feel guilty now when I tweet. I kind of felt guilty tweeting a couple of times this week because I just finished telling everyone that I can't stand Twitter and it's toxic and everything else. But here I am using it, to communicate. So Tyree Jones, he's not sure, but do we believe that Triple H and HBK once hated The Rock and tried to hold him back? You think they felt that way?
CM Punk? Was that The Rock? I know that CM Punk was part of that group along with Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
Where they didn't like CM Punk and they didn't get his character. I don't remember The Rock getting held down by HBK and Triple H. Is that something that happened?
No, I think what Tyree is, where he's going with this is back then the clique dominated everything. And if you weren't part of the clique, you were on the outside. I personally do not think that. I think there was jealousy. I think there was definitely tremendous jealousy, but I think at the end of the day, Triple H and The Rock, look, in wrestling and in real life, you work with someone, doesn't mean that you have to break bread with them. It doesn't mean you have to believe in the same things. It doesn't mean that you have to have the same likes and hobbies. It doesn't mean that you have to mingle in real life. They had totally different lifestyles. So Triple H, Shawn Michaels, never heard of them being like close buddies with The Rock, hanging out afterwards and going out and this and that. Everybody's different. So I think there might have been a little bit of a jealousy, which is normal in wrestling. I mean, people are jealous about people's spots. And I think at the end of the day, there was no hatred. I don't believe for 1 second that Triple H or HBK hated The Rock or disliked The Rock. I mean, The Rock, maybe because of his family lineage, he had a little bit of an easier time, getting the opportunity. But he earned it. He killed it. He knocked it out of the park. So there might have been a little jealousy at his success, but I didn't feel there was any hatred. I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, we got a Vampirella feedback for you. Rojo Bear. Vampirella had a live-action movie in the 90s that went straight to VHS. It's free on YouTube. And the lead singer from The Who is the main villain. No shit.
Peter Townsend? Pete Townsend is the main villain? Wow, I've never even heard of this.
You know what? Cool. I remember a movie with Pete Townsend being in it, and it looked kind of weird seeing him as an evil person. I don't know if that's the movie.
Right.
Roger Daltrey. That kind of makes more sense. Roger Daltrey. Okay. All right. Is Vampirella the one that dressed in like reddish and black and leather?
Yeah,
is that okay?
Like Elvira.
Except, I know who that is.
He's had comic books going all the way back to like the Conan the Barbarian days.
Yeah.
So
I think I've used a couple of Jet-Gel rags from some people who cosplayed as Vampirella, so I know who Vampirella is. So, but Daltrey is the one that sung for The Who.
Huh.
Interesting. You should check that out after. Go check out on YouTube. Thank you, Roger Bear. That's pretty cool. KM Truth, Mish, did you watch WandaVision and The Falcon and Winter Soldier? And if so, which do you think was better?
I punched out of Falcon and Winter Soldier on episode 3, technically. Technically 2. I only got halfway through episode 3 before I just shit-canned it and went off. So it wouldn't be a fair assessment. WandaVision was pretty good. I enjoyed most of it. I got a little concerned with the way that they ended things. They had the big moments to have the reveal being Magneto being Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch's father, and they chose not to do that. They chose to rewrite that history, which was kind of poor for a lot of us, because I know everybody's like, oh, it's an alternate version of Earth, blah, blah, blah. It's not 616, whatever. But the reality is it was a good way to actually do the crossover finally, or at least even the idea of a crossover of X-Men in the MCU. Because now that Disney owns everything, it's like, why are we still holding back? Why do we still have separate universes for this? So it was a moment that they could have taken right there, especially when dealing with Scarlet Witch, to kind of even just put the idea out there, and they chose not to. Instead, they chose to... The big reveal was Darkhold, which for most people, they don't even know what the fuck that is. The big reveal was a book. That was the big, whoa, it's a book, everybody. Holy shit, it's a book. It's a book. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan of, at the end of the day, I wasn't happy with Falcon and Winter Soldier, though. They just totally ruined U.S. Agent. And then when I saw fans responding to the guy, what is his name? Wyatt Russell or whatever. I forgot his actual name. But they were sending this guy fucking death threats because they're like, oh, this guy sucks as Captain America. And it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of punching out on Disney as a whole. Like shit like that to me. It's like, you deal enough with that of being a wrestling fan. I don't want to deal with that for watching Disney too. People trying to kill other people because they don't like their on-screen character. Yeah, I'm good. So
yeah, while you were talking, somebody posted the link for Vampirella, and I don't know how big this is going to come across, but yeah, there's Roger Daltrey in there. Why does that look like Pete Townsend though? But he's got fangs. I know it's a really bad picture of it.
Those are some bad fangs.
Yeah, those are some bad fangs. But yeah, I'm looking at Vampirella, and she's wearing all red. Yeah, this is definitely. I have seen this. It's from 1996, so it gets ranked 3.6 stars out of 10.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Vampirella. Okay, very cool. Very cool. By the way, Big T, I saw what you wrote. Everybody's racist. No, not everybody's racist. Racist is hate in your heart, and I know a lot of people that do not have hatred in your heart. Plain and simple. If you have hatred in your heart and you dislike someone simply because of the color of their skin, that's racist. You accuse other people. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying in general. Simply because you agree with certain viewpoints, if you're Republican and you're a racist, or
I think it's sad that he feels that way.
Yeah.
I think look, and I'm not going to speak on you. I mean, I know you're just a random name in the YouTube chat, but man, if you really feel like everybody in the world is racist, fuck, dude, you must be depressed.
Yeah.
Something. Because then that means everybody hates you, and you believe that.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what Tim Scott said yesterday. And, to see what was going on in Twitter and to see it stay on there for about, 10 hours and then get taken off, that just shows you the bias right there. I mean, people, acting like, oh, that's terrible, but still giggling in the privacy of their own home because of what they're saying. That kind of reveals a lot about a lot of people out there. And it does feel sometimes that there's some people out there that it almost feels like they need this hatred to continue. I used to say that a long time ago about Al Sharpton, and I still don't like the guy, but I truly believe that he fights for, the right reasons for a lot of people who are black. But there are some people out there that need tension and hatred and racism to stay around. That's how they make their money at the end of the day. Absolutely refuse. They become non-existent when looking for a solution. By the way, totally unrelated, but, in the future, we'll have a graphic on the screen for Mish and everything. This literally was just made last week, and I'm tinkering with overlays, and, I haven't had the chance to, complete them. So I don't want anybody to think like they see everything with DT's name on it and nothing with Mish.
It's fine.
The idea of us doing it was just, spurring a moment to do the Q&A tonight. So, AEW, I think we talked about it before, 889,000 viewers?
Right.
I still think that's a very good number. even if there was no speech yesterday. I think that's still a very good number. 900,000 viewers is a decent number.
People believe it should be more than 1.5 million. I mean, from what I was reading from, various social media outposts, they're disappointed because they think that the numbers should only go up now that NXT is gone in their world. It's not on Wednesdays anymore. So for that, that is a blow. It's a striking blow to them.
You know what's funny?
It's an ego blow. Is what it is.
That's what it is. If AEW the last 3 weeks would have done 900, 900, 900, or 950, 920, 900, you would not have anybody making excuses today.
Right.
But because it went down 25% in 2 weeks, got to blame it on something.
NXT, Nur's like, what about NXT? Yeah, NXT went down this week too.
Yeah.
But
they've done a horrible job with some people on NXT in the last month.
I still think that this is the month where they're just recycling stuff. This doesn't feel like the month that they're trying. Even WWE WrestleMania Backlash isn't exactly lighting any fires this month. I know it's still 2 weeks out, but Jesus, there's really nothing on that card so far that's like, oh man, can't wait for that feud again. So I think this is just, what do you want to talk? This is the vacation, wink, wink. You know what I mean? For all the writers and stuff out there. But we knew NXT was going to take a dive. Dude, I talked about it with you before. I talked about it with Joey. I said both shows are going to take a hit. And it's going to keep going down, and it's going to keep going down until eventually it hits its plateau. So people upset about 800,000 or 850,000 or whatever it is, get prepared for more disappointment because it's only going to go down further. Because I think a lot of people that were watching these shows together were watching because both of these shows were together on air at the same time. And it's very true that AEW pulled out that $1 million and change. It's fucking great for them. But I don't see it really changing like that, with the exception of like maybe the last episode before, maybe the one after a pay-per-view or something big like that.
Next week, I think they'll do a big number.
Right. But on the regular, no, I think the numbers are going to start to really, find their course downward. And not in a crushing way. It's not like AEW is going to end up with 200,000. Of course not. But I think once the sediment starts to settle, then you'll start to get a good feel for the numbers. Like I think that the average numbers for AEW will be about 750. I
think that's a little low. I think 850 to 900 will be pretty much the norm.
Will be the norm. Yeah.
The weird thing about it is, before they actually started going unopposed, I know a lot of people out there were saying 900 to 1 million should be about the average. And when 900 to 1 million is about the average, that means some weeks are better and some weeks are not. Doesn't mean that it has to be minimum 900. You could have 1.1. You could have 900. You could have 850. It doesn't mean that every single week has to kill it with a number. But as far as NXT, I brought up 2 names yesterday, and I brought them up Tuesday also. And I still feel, even if you were going to take a little bit of a break the last couple of weeks, you take your break with the people from TakeOver who have established NXT for years, that you can give a little bit of a break. Ciampa, Cole, or Kyle O'Reilly, and others. What they did in the last 4 weeks to Karrion Kross and Xia Li is pathetic. Xia Li, she wasn't even on TakeOver. So the week before TakeOver, you're talking almost 5 weeks now, 4 to 5 weeks. The only thing we've seen of her is a vignette, and we see more vaping. If anything, she should have been one of those, while they take a little bit of a break, that they feature her more on TV. They've totally made her disappear. And I'm sure they'll probably have her in action next week, but that's pathetic. And Karrion Kross, I obviously like him very much for various reasons.
Sure.
But this guy, when he first won the belt, he got injured right away. So they were never ever able to establish his character. He comes back, he gets the belt right away, and for the last 4 weeks, since Adam Cole is not on TV, since Kyle O'Reilly was really only on once for the most part, since Balor is on vacation, since a lot of big names that could overshadow Karrion Kross, they're all off TV. Perfect opportunity to put the focus on Karrion Kross and build his identity, create his identity. Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? Is he a tweener? I mean, I know personally the guy is an awesome guy and he socializes and gets along and he's doing great interviews outside of TV. But to see him over the last 3 weeks, and the only time you saw him on TV is him standing on the side while Kyle O'Reilly goes to the ring for his match. Like, that's what you do with your heavyweight champion? Vacation or not, those big names that they gave a break, that's when they should have said, okay, now we put the focus on Karrion Kross, build his identity for those 3 or 4 weeks. This way, when the other names do come back, you know, Karrion Kross's identity is pretty much set, and you could work around that. And they have done zero. Instead, they put all of the names that I have brought up for the last year and a half, they brought all the names on TV that do the worst ratings. You know, thinking that, oh, well, now since we're unopposed, we'll have an extra 200,000 people looking at these people, and we'll convince them that Everrise is okay, and the Grizzlian veterans and the Imperium without Walter and this and that. And no. All of these people have drawn shit ratings, and because it's unopposed now and you got a little bit of a higher number, suddenly their ratings, they took every person who has had a shit rating and put them back on TV.
Right.
Why? Because
dude.
there's no urgency now.
Well, there is none. I mean, there's no urgency. There's right now pushing forward. It's just going to get to the next takeover. That's all it is. You know, I don't know. I mean, everybody always complains that wrestling needs an off season. There's a lot of times that you'll see a lot of feedback of wrestling needs an off season. Wrestling needs to take a break for months at a time. And constantly WWE barrels through, no matter what people say, no matter what the contingent is. And you have to wonder if this is their way of taking a vacation. You have to wonder if this is their way of taking time off. You give people that normally don't have the spotlight, that they don't have direct future plans for, other than the right here, right now, and you give them that time. Why not? Instead of making it all about Cross and making it all about the main event and everything else like that, why not put in the people that would normally never have a shot? And let's see what they can do. See, that's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe WWE's not as deep as my fucking 2-second thought was, but I think they are. I think that they understand how they're using their talent. I even understand with WWE WrestleMania Backlash that they're not trying to push any new narratives. They're just trying to give it some time and do things with people that they don't normally do, or run its course with certain storylines so that those storylines are completely finished. I don't think it's as deep as the way people are looking at it, like, well, why aren't they building up Xia Li? She's been around, but she hasn't been around, or where is Saray? And, you know, like, I think people are looking too deep into the month after WrestleMania. If this was 3 months down the road, if this was 6 months down the road, I'd be burning the fucking the midnight oil with you, thinking about why in the hell are they misusing this talent. But the month after WrestleMania, I mean, there's nothing that's going to compare anyway. So I don't know. Just my thoughts about it.
Well, we'll give it a little more time, but I tell you, man, they could have really, I mean, I'm not trying to say it like this, but they could have really made an impression on those AEW fans that have no wrestling to watch on Tuesday night for the most part. And hey, maybe they could like NXT enough that they'll tune in on a regular basis. And you take all the major names. Okay, you want to take them off for a week, but you know, they have so many big names there You know, like if you're going to take this person off TV for 2-3 weeks, okay, bring this person back on. All right. Oh, okay. If you're going to take Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly off to sell their injuries, okay, you know, put Pete Dunne on, you know, but show, you know, and it just instead,
Right.
you know, like, and even the Cameron Grimes stuff, you know.
I'm just contemplating, though, too, DT. I'm not the be-all, end-all of this information. I'm just contemplating and trying to make logic from where it sometimes seems there is none.
Yeah.
This isn't like there's anybody coming out forthwith with any of these answers. It's not like you can just dial up 1-800-CALL-WWE and they'll go ahead and tell you exactly what's going on. There's no information directly about this unless WWE wants us to know about this information. So what's the next best thing you can do, DT?
I just think
you have to surmise
Yeah.
based upon the facts at hand.
All the
You have to
urgency
sit
is
there and
gone.
contemplate the different logics that go in between pushing somebody now versus pushing somebody later, making something important later, or setting in the seeds right now to see what would happen later. It's just a lot of this is not these big, deep details that people need to know.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just common fucking sense.
I will say this, though, for AEW, and yeah, you know, I was a little confused why they closed out with Sting and Allen yesterday instead of, you know, Pinnacle Inner Circle. You know, maybe they were concerned about the Biden speech eating up some numbers. But overall, you look at the 3 weeks of AEW, it feels business as usual. It doesn't feel like much has changed. I mean, I was a little surprised Hangman Page losing his number one contendership before even getting a title match. But, you know, as weird as it sounds, you know, he could have it back in a week or two. I think they're going to start playing around with this number one contendership like a title. You're going to keep seeing people battle for the new number one contendership. You're going to see people getting it, losing it, regaining it. I think that's going to be their new title for the time being. So, Big Armada, talking about what we said before. That's what happens when you think you're informed about certain things. When you're really just in an echo chamber yourself, yeah. It scares me what's going on in this world because it feels like the end thing to do is to label people and, you know, yell at people instead of trying to get people together. You know, somebody talks about wanting to unite. Somebody talks about, look, I didn't watch the Oscars. I heard they did a shit number in the ratings. Who's the producer that always does Medea? What's his name?
Perry.
Tyler Perry. He got an award.
Yes, he did.
And
he got a Lifetime Achievement Award, too, I think.
Yeah, and he's one of, I don't watch Tyler Perry movies. But I've joked in the past that if you watch one Tyler Perry movie, you pretty much watch them all because the plot always seems the same. But I'll say this. To me, I thought he had the most genuine speech, wanting truly in his heart for people to come together. And the minute he said that, you know, brings up that police, not all police are bad, the cheers like died down almost to nothing. And it's like, how dare you? How dare you even insinuate that we could possibly have some good cops in this country? And it's a scary time. I mean, I talk to people, my neck of the woods, all different colors, nationalities, and a lot of people are concerned also. You know, the problem is that when you start teaching it in the schools and you start making it the norm and everybody finds it acceptable to judge a whole class of people based on the color of their skin and not the content of their character, you know, it gets deadly. It reminds me of the virus, the vaccine. Reminds me of the vaccine. Trump, Operation Warp Speed. There was a ton of people out there that did everything they could to make this vaccine feel that you couldn't trust it, that Trump was rushing it without properly testing it and was doing it to win an election and this and that. And they brought up all these wild scenarios about what could happen if you take the vaccine. And I brought it up, I think yesterday. No, it was Patreon. That, this might be getting a little bit too personal, but my brother's wife and my 2 nieces haven't been vaccinated yet because they're afraid that it could affect their fertility if they want to have kids down the line. Now, there's nothing I could say to get through them. They're going to have to learn on their own. But the point is that you spread a certain narrative long enough, people believe it. And once Trump was out of there, now you realize, fuck, we made so many people believe that this virus was dangerous. Now how do we do the opposite? And then the worst part is, like yesterday with Biden, he's got every politician that was in that chamber yesterday watching Biden's speech were vaccinated. And they were all wearing masks. Now, if you're fully vaccinated and everybody, your leaders, are still wearing masks, and the worst was when Biden was with all the world leaders and he's in a room all by himself on a Zoom call and he's wearing a mask. And everybody's making fun of him, saying, why the fuck is this guy wearing a mask? He's in a room by himself. And people were joking, like, I guess you could get COVID through your webcam. Like, you spread this information, it's very, very difficult to overcome it. So it happens with the vaccine. It happens with race. It happens with everything. It's scary shit, man. Very scary. That's why, honestly, I'm glad I don't have any kids in this world. And when I die, my side, my, legacy dies with it. I don't want any kids to linger around in this world to see what's going to happen. I don't. So, Brian Mahoney, we keep going back and forth. Wrestling, real. Wrestling, real. Wrestling is not meant to be presented the way it's been forced. We will never know the ceiling under the pandemic circumstances. Wrestling has only just been surviving. Excellent point. Wrestling has been surviving. And, Mish, let me ask you this. Does it feel like NWA, Impact Wrestling, MLW, Ring of Honor, GCW, even Jack Savage promotion, does it feel like they're all just trying to be the first person to get the scraps? Does it feel like there's any serious coin for them to make, or does it feel like, okay, somebody just threw out a box of, for a restaurant just threw out a box of pretty decent food that they can't obviously serve anymore because it's a day old, and people are scrambling to see who could get the little bit of scraps first?
Not necessarily in that vein. I think them bridging the gap between all these promotions around AEW is genuinely their way of trying to bring up an alternate product to WWE. WWE's reach financially and physically is so large that you would almost have to take as many promotions as possible and have them all report to AEW. So in this scenario, I don't look at it like scraps going to one way or the other. It's almost like you're trying to create a bigger animal by just bringing them all together. So, for example, if Peyton Royce and Billy Kay end up on AEW, at this point in time, it's not too crazy to think, hey, they might also end up in MLW. They might also end up in Impact. They might also end up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because everybody's working so closely together and they're working with different titles together. It's almost as if it doesn't matter who picks up the scraps, everybody wins. Well, but that's what I see. I don't know. I mean,
I look, we'll go back and forth with two comments because they kind of intertwine with each other. When you say everybody wins, I'm with Lee on this one. Please talk about how disappointing and one-sided this AEW versus Impact has been so far. And he did a poll for the worst champs. Kenny Omega tied with Jinder Mahal. To go back and forth with Brian and Lee, I've been saying this for a long time now. I brought it up yesterday, and I will continue saying it. Maybe the ratings for Impact, when they come out tomorrow, maybe it'll change my mind a little bit. But I feel, Mish, that this AEW versus Impact, AEW is the only one that benefited from this. Impact Wrestling.
They're the ones with the biggest paycheck, DT.
Right, but I think Impact Wrestling had such a hard time trying to find their identity when they decided to bury themselves into Wrestle House and Who Shot Johnny Bravo and trying to do this over-the-top shit with Rosemary and Sinister Minister and others. And I'm not saying that all that was bad. Some of it was very entertaining. But in the process, Impact lost its identity. And now it feels like Finn Juice, I brought it up last week, since I think February 25th. It's the third week in February, around that time. You look at Impact Wrestling's numbers from the end of February, right around the 25th. I don't know why the 25th's in my brain, but right around February 25th to the present, you see a clear-cut drop in the numbers. And what transpired? Finn Juice was brought in. They were given the belts. Taya Valkyrie left. And pretty much they've been pushing this Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann. They've been pushing it for 4 or 5 months, but they really started putting it in full gear the end of February. And it seems that the more and more they're trying to make it look like there's a forbidden door that has been kicked down, I think the more it's hurting Impact Wrestling. Because I don't think Impact Wrestling fans, put it this way, I don't think Impact Wrestling fans give a shit if AEW's in their company or not. They just want their favorites to have good storylines and good matches. And on AEW's side, and I brought this up before, Impact Wrestling, for the most part, has done lower numbers than they did before all of this invasion storyline. So when you realize, even if you average it to 1 million viewers, or if you want to be fair, since they were head-to-head with NXT, let's say 800,000 viewers. You have 800,000 viewers tuning into AEW every single week, and Impact Wrestling has been floating around 150,000 viewers, 160. And last year, they floated around 160, 170. So what you're saying is, out of 800,000 AEW viewers on a Wednesday night, let's say for the benefit of the doubt that every single person that watches Impact watches AEW. So we'll take that 800,000 that AEW averages and we'll subtract it by 160. We'll say 160 of those people who tune in Wednesday are Impact fans. So you're left with 640,000 viewers. None of them are still interested to tune into Impact, even if their favorite Kenny Omega is on, even if their leader Tony Khan is on, even if Matt Hardy and Private Party are on.
It's the attempt, though. You have to attempt. Look, crossover Fed wars have worked in the past. CZW versus ROH was great. NJPW and WCW or ECW and FMW. And there's been crossovers in the past, and they've worked. In some veins, they've worked. But we're in a completely capitalist wrestling society now. And Vince McMahon is practically the monopoly holder. So what are you supposed to do as a smaller company? AEW is wrestling's biggest shot. And look, I'm not an AEW, flag supporter or anything like that, but I can realize this. It's not difficult. AEW is the biggest shot as to getting somebody else besides Vince McMahon as a wrestling corporation, as a wrestling entity that is comparable to what you get with WWE. AEW is trying to envelop smaller promotions, NWA, ROH, Impact, et cetera, in order to not only do the crossover. You're right. I don't think Impact fans really care too much, but it's also been built up a little bit oddly It's at the end of the day, AEW needs to look stronger, because in order for AEW to bolster more weight and more reasons for fans to watch, their superstars have to look like they're a cut above the people in the smaller promotions. But what does that mean for the smaller promotions? Well, hopefully it means some more advertising, some more eyes. So AEW is using Impact in order to make their characters look stronger, and Impact is using AEW for its influence that it has now. You see where the trade-off comes in?
I understand what you're saying. You're 100% right. But I'll show you how bad this is hurting Impact. Let's go back to 1996 for a minute. NWO, WCW. All right? And the invasion storyline of NWO and WCW. Now, just so people understand how stupid this would have come across, imagine Twitter being around in 1996 and Hulk Hogan, NWO, we're taking over, that we're outside, we're going to take over the promotion and kill WCW. Imagine Hulk Hogan, NWO, wins the heavyweight championship, and WCW on their Twitter feed writes, "And new heavyweight champion, Hollywood Hogan," with all pomp and circumstance. The storyline should be, what the fuck are we going to do now? NWO has all the belts. They're trying to destroy Nitro. They're doing their own pay-per-view sold out.
I'm looking at it from the kayfabe side of things.
Right, I understand that, but
I'm looking at it from the structurally, the whole point of this is.
But it's all perception. Yeah. If your fans, imagine how the fans would have taken it to watch WCW on their social media feed, like showing all this love.
No, you're right. I get that. That looks absurd.
Right. So now,
kayfabe-wise, it's absurd.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
So now,
the storyline is absurd. But as far as who's benefiting, they're both benefiting from it. They're both winning. They're both getting exactly what they want. AEW looks stronger, can make more money, and gets more people to believe in their wrestlers, which is a big problem because right now most people believe in WWE wrestlers over AEW's wrestlers, which is neither here nor there. But on the other side, Impact gets a voice. Right. Impact gets commercials. Impact gets eyes on them. So even though Impact is going to lose this war, and we know they are, it doesn't matter because it's going to get more people on Impact. And then what that does in turn is it allows Impact to build something up from that. And maybe down the road, there'll be an Impact versus AEW 2. And the people that lost at Impact AEW 1 will now be stronger and smarter. And maybe this time they'll come back and beat them the second time. Like, that's how you build it up in the kayfabe sense of it. But structurally, they're both making out. They're both getting exactly what they want. As far as kayfabe right now, yeah, you're right.
How do you feel about
fans look like assholes? You're totally right. AEW fans are like, yeah, fuck those little guys. And Impact fans are like, oh, we suck. You're totally fucking right. But it's not about, what is it? It's not about the now, it's about the end of the road.
I just think Impact looks ridiculous on their social media feed with all excitement about Kenny Omega being their champion and embracing it. Embracing it. It just kills the storyline. And I think the biggest mistake also is nobody from Impact ever tried to show up in Jacksonville to try to interrupt AEW Dynamite. I think that is a...
Oh, I got an answer for that.
Okay.
Tighter security.
Yeah, you could have done that, but just, you know...
They couldn't get in. I mean, those Jacksonville Jaguars security guards are just too much for the Impact Wrestling team.
I just think, in the end, I don't see Impact. After 6 months, they haven't gotten more viewers out of this. And now they got the heavyweights there, you know, Omega.
I know.
You know, which you don't get any higher than that.
Sure.
I just don't know where you go from here. As far as Omega's championship reign, Lee, I mean, everybody knows his ability. So no one's questioning Kenny Omega's ability. It's just the way he was used. Jinder Mahal was the opposite. Jinder Mahal, people just didn't want to see him as champion. People want to see Kenny Omega as champion. It's just AEW's done a pathetic job with him as champion. His reign has been all smoke and mirrors. Yeah. So Kenny Omega is the opposite of Jinder Mahal. So, I don't know. Edwin, do we think a lot could care less about his comments, but Hogan using it to bury because they feel that he buried their favorites? Who's he?
He fixed that. If you fast forward to the next one, he reads.
Oh, you don't have to do that twice. Hey, Edwin, yeah. Oh, all right. You don't have to do that twice, my friend. I could always read back. Do you think some could care less about Hulk Hogan's comments, but are using it to keep him out because they felt he buried their favorites? That's possible.
You're saying, do you think that Hulk Hogan's comments, obviously, you know, the comments that made him, you know, pretty hated around other people, are people using that in order to keep him out of wrestling circles, I assume?
Because no, he's talking about back in the day, Hogan, you know, burying a lot of the talent that we loved over the years.
Right, you know, but like, because of his commentary. Like, do you think that they're using
his commentary as creative control
as an excuse?
No,
you know
I
mean?
think
like Hulk Hogan burying somebody like a Bret Hart, you know, or burying some of these other guys. But do you think that they keep the heat up? They keep the hatred up?
Yeah, I see where he's going.
Because of what Hulk Hogan said, you know, but because that's what Hogan did to the people that they liked, the fans liked.
Yeah, Edwin, I get what you're saying. I'll bring up something I said yesterday. Ryback. Okay? I'll use Ryback as a way to answer this. Do you see Ryback's comments lately about vaccines?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Ryback basically said that if someone out there feels they don't want to be vaccinated, they don't need to be vaccinated. That's what Ryback pretty much said. I totally respect it. That's his view. You? Well, I don't agree with it, but I totally respect his view because of what I said back in February of last year, that 1/3 of our country doesn't get a flu shot. They don't believe in flu shots. So if you don't believe in flu shots, the vaccine is technically a form of a flu shot. And I don't believe that anybody should be forced to take a vaccine or a flu shot that they truly don't feel comfortable or have faith in, or they might, you know, be nervous that something could go wrong. If somebody truly feels, if a loved one of mine says, I don't believe in vaccines, I would turn around and say, I totally respect their view on it. I don't agree with it. I think being vaccinated not only gives you...
I can't respect that. I can't respect someone that's willing to put the rest of humanity at risk because of some political belief. You know?
Well, I see what you're saying with that. I mean, I respect you saying that too, even though I don't agree with it. But my point is, this is my point. This is my point about it all. You know, you have any people in your family that don't get flu shots every year?
No.
Okay.
I'm probably the closest thing, but it's not that I don't get flu shots every year because I'm making a political statement against it. Sometimes I'm just lazy not to.
Okay.
But when it comes to something serious, to where it has 3 million fucking body bags attached to it, yeah, this is a different scenario.
Okay.
So making that comparison is a little bit different because we know people don't die from the flu.
Okay. Well, that's not true. I mean,
or
people
at
do
least
die.
Not usually.
Yeah. Yeah, not on the level of this. Joe Rogan said the same thing. Joe Rogan said the same thing about younger people especially. Here's where I'm going with this. There are people out there that don't believe in being vaccinated. And that's about 1/3 of the country. And when they've done voting in polls in the past, A third of the country said they're not going to get vaccinated. All right, I don't agree with any of them, but if you truly believe, that the vaccine could hurt you or hurt someone else, I mean, who am I to hold it against you? You know what I mean? I'm the one enjoying walking around knowing that I'm completely clear, that I could go on vacation and I could do this and do that and enjoy myself, and you're losing out. Remember, last February I said that everybody should have vaccine cards, and some of you jumped down my throat saying that's NWO shit. But here's the thing. Because it was Ryback that said it, and people out there don't like Ryback, they use this to make it a big news story that Ryback is saying to people, if you don't believe in vaccinations, you shouldn't have to be vaccinated.
Right.
That's his right to say, even though I disagree with it.
Yeah, no, it's his right to say. I'm not going to sit there and say that I disagree with him because he doesn't have a right to say something like that. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, free speech all day, every day. But I'm still going to call him a fucking idiot for thinking that way.
Right.
Because who is he to sit there and say that he has more information and more knowledge than scientists, than thousands of scientists that have dedicated their lives to figuring out vaccines and viruses and dissecting diseases and stuff? What is the amount of information that he has to back up his point of view? Look,
right.
I'm not saying this because I think I'm right. I'm not saying this because I know I'm right. I'm saying this because there are other people that have degrees, that have dedicated their fucking existence in order to know more about this, that know more than me, that know more than Ryback, that know more than Joe Rogan, that are saying fucking otherwise. So who the fuck are you, or even me, to disagree with people that know more than us combined?
Right. Well, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that because Ryback said it, and people don't like Ryback, they're jumping all over on this guy, but yet Joe Rogan and others say the very same thing, and they are silent about it. Or if some of their favorites.
So sense thing, man. These people, look, we all have opinions, and as entertainers, as podcasters, as bloggers, vloggers, whatever you want to consider us, as broadcasters, we all have opinions on the way things are going down. But when you're giving out advice, life-changing advice, or life-endangering advice based upon nothing but your own political viewpoints, that's when you're full of shit.
Right.
If you are following, look, it's like turning this whole thing political is irritating as fuck to me, because this should have been nothing but doctors and scientists giving us facts, and that's it. When they made this about Trump, when they made this about Biden, when they made this about, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is specifically for Democrats only. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous that people are trying to interject their opinions like it matters in the grand scheme of facts, of science. So when people like Ryback and Rogan and me and you even have our opinions one way or another, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is what the tests say. All that matters are what the doctors say, are what the scientists say, are what's actually in the vaccine, are what's curing people, are what's preventing people from dropping dead after a cough and a fever. So that's why it's like when people want to hate on Ryback or not hate Joe Rogan, even though they're saying the same thing, well, fuck all those people. Every one of them.
Well, that's the thing with Hogan. People will hate on him and really not necessarily are upset by his words, but will use the words as a reason to keep the hate on Hogan, just like Ryback. You didn't see these people all getting triggered when Rogan said it, when other people in wrestling said it, but if Austin Aries says it or Ryback says it, then suddenly, oh my God, these people are brain dead and this and that. So yeah, people do that. For people that they dislike, they will use, their views and opinions and inflate it into something major. But Mish is right also. Everybody, especially those that have a big viewing audience, should shut the fuck up. That's why what LeBron said at the end of the day is truly dangerous. What Joe Rogan said technically is truly dangerous, you know, because Joe Rogan is not a scientist, and him saying, put it this way, Lee says in the chat room right now that Joe Rogan basically said, if you're young and you work out and don't get vaccinated, that's what he's saying. Now, tell me what's the difference between him saying that and DeSantis in Florida, you know, having that, you know, that meeting that YouTube removed and Twitter removed, saying that it was misinformation. Why is that removed, but Joe Rogan's is not?
You're right. You're right.
So it's all politics.
I just think when it comes to something like, but I mean, look, having differing political opinions is perfectly fine. Having differing political opinions on how to run this country is perfectly fine. Having differing opinions on which company in wrestling is better is perfectly fine. But when you're talking about something that is affecting the entire planet, that is a life or death situation, I think it's at that point that entertainers and politicians need to shut the fuck up and let the doctors and scientists come out with the facts. It's just, it's not very difficult. If it's a life-threatening situation, shut the fuck up unless you're a doctor or a scientist. Unless you're somebody that can truly explain what's going on, or you can explain what the vaccines are, or you can explain factually how to stop this from happening. If you are not any of those things, then you do not get to have a voice, or you shouldn't have a voice, I should say, not get to. But you shouldn't have a voice in something you have no idea about. And I'm smart enough to know that I'm dumb as fuck when it comes to understanding how COVID works and understanding how the vaccines work, other than you take the shots and you're immune, or mostly immune.
Yeah.
So,
see, that's,
you know what I mean?
Out of the whole 16 months, 17 months of this pandemic, the one thing that angers me the most out of everything is they still won't. There's been studies for 17 months. They still won't give you a straight answer when someone asks, what is the percentage of people who have been vaccinated in the United States that have caught COVID once again? What is the percentage of somebody not only catching COVID once they're fully vaccinated, but giving it to someone else? And that is the one answer for the last 8 months that I've been trying to get on my own. I'm reading studies, I'm reading this, I'm reading that. And the one thing I found, and obviously because I'm a nobody, even if I tweeted about it, I might get 40 likes, but it ain't going to get any traction. But what I found is every lab result, every study that's out there answers almost everything else but that. And I always remember about 2 months ago or so, the CDC on one morning had made a comment that if you're fully vaccinated, that grandma could go hug the grandkids and you don't have to wear a mask if you're around others who are fully vaccinated. And within 10 minutes, the net caught a wing of that. People started immediately like, good, I don't have to fucking wear the mask anymore. I'm not wearing. See, all along, if you're fully vaccinated, you can't get it. It's almost impossible. The facts pretty much are that it's 99.8 or 99.9% chance. If you're fully vaccinated, you're 99.9% chance that you can't get it again. And even if you do, the worst scenario is a little bit of sniffle. It's not even strong enough that you could give it to someone else. They won't come out and say that, because if the world finds out that 99% plus you're fully vaccinated, you can't get it again, all those people are going to say, why the fuck are we still wearing masks? Why the fuck are we still restricted? And you're going to have chaos in the world. And then if people cave in and say, okay, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't see how they said outdoors, unless you're in a big gathering, outdoors, if you're vaccinated, you could be right in someone's face. You could be in their vicinity. But if you're they stop quickly. Now tell me what's the difference of this or the difference of this. They just want everyone to still be restricted because there are a lot of people in this world that have not been vaccinated yet. And instead of giving the incentive, my father used to do this for me when I was a kid. I'm not kidding. When I was a kid and I started getting heavy, my father used to do contests with me. And I don't know if anybody out there, your family did this for you also, but my father used to say to me, Anthony, go on the scale. Give you 30 days. You lose 10 pounds, I'll give you $500. Most of the time I didn't win. But my father, realizing years later that my father tried to make it in a way like that oh my God, all I got to do is lose 10 pounds. I'll just take crazy water pills and X-Lax and I'll shit my brains out for 2 days and I'll drop 10 pounds. That's what I should have done. But my father was trying to give me big incentives to get healthy. What the incentive should have been 6, 7, 8 months ago is the quicker you get vaccinated, the quicker you could take the mask off. And if you're vaccinated and you have proof that you're vaccinated, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. Sure.
Why should that be the incentive? Why shouldn't the incentive be the quicker you get vaccinated, the quicker you don't get sick, the quicker you don't get your parents sick, the quicker you don't get your kids sick, the quicker you don't cause somebody to die? How about that? Is that a good enough?
That's the same thing as drinking. Don't get behind the wheel because you could kill someone else and you could kill this and somebody could kill you.
That's a scenario.
Right.
You can drink without killing somebody. If you're sitting on a couch drinking, the only person you're killing is yourself.
Right.
By not getting the vaccination, you could potentially be killing other people.
Right. But people have the mindset that I'll be careful. That's the mindset of everybody who hasn't been vaccinated yet. Why haven't people been vaccinated? You can't use the excuse that bad neighborhoods
there's
can't
part
get
of
it.
an excuse there because they've just opened the doors for people 16 and up. They literally just opened that up.
Yeah, that
week.
I could see.
Before this week, people couldn't get the vaccination unless they were of a certain, if you were too heavy, if you were a smoker, if you were older, like you had to fit into a group. Now it's open up to everybody, literally, at least in Chicago. I don't know how long it's been up there in New York, but as of Monday of this past week, it's been 16 and up. So now is the time that everybody's going to be flooding in. As a matter of fact, as far as Illinois goes, they've like tripled the amount of places that are offering vaccinations now. So it's not something that's closed off. They just opened it up this week for everyone. So let's have this conversation in a month or two.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Let's see what's happening.
That's a very good point. I do know a lot of my customers have not been vaccinated yet. And most of my customers are older. And some people just don't believe it. I told this story the other day. One of my customers who used to be a big-time gangster, he was in jail for about 25 years for the pizza connection. Some of you may remember that from the 80s. And every couple of months he takes me out for lunch. I think he just wants the company, but I also help him with insurance and everything. And it was only about 2 months ago that he told me a story that I never knew. And I'm sorry for repeating it for those that heard it Tuesday. We went to a restaurant in Brooklyn, and he said to me that he was going to get the shot. And he wanted to know which one I got. I told him Moderna. So I said, oh, you're getting the shot? Good. And then I said, what made you change your mind? Because for the last 8 months, the guy's like, I ain't taking that fucking shot. No fucking way. He said the reason why he was taking it is because his wife is in poor health, and if she gets COVID, it's a death sentence. It's not even close. It's a death sentence. So he doesn't want to put her in that situation. He's doing it for his wife. So then he says to me, he goes, you want to know why I don't get flu shots and I don't believe in this vaccine? I always thought it was because of Trump, because he hates Trump, despises Trump. He told me a story that fascinated me, and I did a Google search, and sure enough, there's articles there. He was in jail in the early 90s, and while he was in jail, they told the inmates that everybody had to get a flu shot. So they had everybody line up, get the flu shots. You didn't have a choice. You had to get the flu shot. They were doing it to protect the inmates. Somehow they found out, like a week later, that the flu shot they were given was a test flu shot that I guess the medical field was experimenting with, and they used the inmates as pretty much lab mice. And there was uproars, there were riots in the prison from the inmates because they were lied to and suckered into taking this flu shot. And he said to me, he said, ever since that happened, he does not trust the government. He doesn't trust the government. It doesn't matter who says that the shot was safe. I know his doctor told him it was safe. And I tell everybody this now, talk to your doctor. If you're not sure, talk to your own doctor. Chances are you have a good relationship with your doctor. If your doctor tells you it's safe, your doctor's probably the one person that's not going to lie to you. But just think, like in your head, like how people look at that. So, but hey, it is what it is. It is what, but you're right. Let's wait 6 weeks and let's see in 6 weeks.
That's just coming up. Like Sam just asked me, he's like, have you taken the shot yet? And I'm like, no, because there's the Pfizer shots here in Chicago are all over the place. I think there's one facility that has the J&J shot, which is obviously a big deal right now because the clotting, before it was only applying to women, but now men are getting the blood clot issues as well from the J&J vaccine, or at least it's being reported. I mean, you are talking about 3 million vaccinations versus like a handful of people with blood clots, but still, it's being reported. But I want the Moderna, and the Moderna shot is only available in Tinley Park, and there's a waiting list on that. So I'm on the waiting list for that, but that's the one that I want. So in a world of choices, which is a good thing. I mean, if push comes to shove and the Moderna, ends up not being the one I have to take and I have to go with the Pfizer, I'll do the Pfizer. But I mean, I'd rather wait for the Moderna because that's the one that looks the best to me, seems to have the best, results or percentages from it. So, but unfortunately, now that everything is right, I know you do. I know a couple other people that do too. I think that's the one that I want though. So, but yeah, no, like I was saying before, Chicago or Illinois has doubled the amount of facilities that are handing out the vaccines and stuff like that. But yeah, we have to wait a little bit of time because it's only open to the public as of this week. So for everybody not being vaccinated, let's wait a few months. Let's wait a couple months to see where we're at and see what those numbers are like, because who knows? I mean, it might completely change. I mean, that vaccination rate might seriously go up. I think somebody threw it in the chat earlier, and I don't know if it's a legit number, but it seems like it could be. I think they said 29% of the nation is vaccinated already.
Oh, it's more than that.
That's
more than that. Oh, it's more than that. It was 1/3 of the country fully vaccinated a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's 33%. So that's pretty close. Either way, what I'm saying is now that the doors are open for everybody pretty much, I think that number is going to skyrocket easily.
I'm going to look it up right now. Percentage of country.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual percentage is as of the moment. I bet you it's a lot higher even because it's been 1 week of the vaccinations for everyone 16 and over, Yeah, I'm trying. Unfortunately, a lot of these websites, they have to give you a bunch of shit. Okay. As of, looks like about 5 days ago, 43% of the United States. Actually, whoa. This is, well, you know what? That person actually might be right about this. About 1/3 of the country is fully vaccinated. Almost 47% of the country has had at least one shot. Okay. So, yeah. So 2 shots or 3 shots or whatever it is, or yeah. So 29% is probably closer to being accurate as far as being fully vaccinated.
Well, the good thing about it is here in New York, the number of cases every day has dropped 75% in a month.
Good.
There was still, sadly, 30 deaths. But again, most of the people who are passing are people who are a lot older, diabetes, health issues. In fact, the number one stat that blew my mind is that the majority of the people who have passed have either been overweight or diabetic. So it does, so there is obviously a classification, but, a month from now, if everybody gets their second shot, then that means almost half the country. Put it this way, the fact that the numbers have gotten that low and only 1/3 of the country is vaccinated, you get another 15%, 20% of the country vaccinated, the pandemic is over. Should be over. That's why New York announced today that July 1st, they're planning that day to be the day everything goes back 100%. They know it could go back to 100% sooner, but they're using a target date, and it's smart. It's smart. It's almost like a wrestling.
There are still places in the U.S. I see Sam throwing up in Ontario, Canada, that's going up. Yeah, there's still places. I think, is it Minneapolis, Minnesota, is going up as far as infections go. But that's going to ebb and flow. Right, but that's going to ebb and flow. That's what I'm saying. Is like, that's going to go up, but that's also going to go down.
Yeah.
That's not like, oh my God, there's going to be another outbreak. It's not like it's a brand new outbreak of COVID-21 or some shit.
The vaccine should be like a wrestling storyline. Somebody gets no, but this is how I look at it. Somebody, and by the way, shout out to Devin M. I know he's tuning in a little late. We're going to do the Who Am I contest in a moment. So everyone, get your typing fingers ready. We're going to be doing that in a second. What I mean by that is, think of a wrestling storyline that someone wants a shot at the heavyweight title, and now they're promised a shot at the heavyweight title. But they do a storyline where if you put your hands on the champion before your match, you lose your opportunity. So obviously, in most of those cases, the champion is a heel, and the champion will try to bait you into hitting them. But the idea is that if you resist and you wait until the day you get your shot at the title, as long as you don't do anything you're not supposed to, you'll get your shot. With the vaccine, they should have it like the target date where, okay, as long as we do everything right, as long as we don't, try to get careless, we know that on July 1st, we could go back to normal. If you know that the outcome is something pleasant, it goes back to my father when I was a kid. You lose 10 pounds in 30 days, I give you $500. So if I would have taken it seriously, every day I mark off on the calendar, I'm one day closer of getting that money. Mark off on the calendar, I'm one day closer of trying to get back to some type of normalcy. That's why they have Freedom Day with the vaccine, 2 weeks after your second shot. So what they should have done in this country and other countries is, okay, you want to go back to normal? Get vaccinated. 2 weeks after your second shot, you're free and clear. For the most part, even if you're not 100% free and clear, you're not 100% free and clear of a lot of things out there in this world with illness. But the idea is that it would give incentive to even young people. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get vaccinated because I can't deal with this pandemic shit anymore. The quicker I get vaccinated, the quicker I could go back and hang out with my friends and go to the beach and go to a party and go to a restaurant and go to a club and go to a bar or go to a coffee shop, go to a mall, hang out with my friends at a game, go to a wrestling event, go to a concert. The quicker I get it done, the quicker I could go back. They should have made that incentive. Anybody that's vaccinated, you could go do this. By the way, Mish, let me let everybody know. When you see the screen go black, it's because, enjoying a little puff. Mish, I am still with YouTube. There's a couple of things that they really don't like. And Mish, out of respect for the channel and for everybody tuning in, if he's enjoying a little bit of a smoke, Nothing illegal, no babanya, but he does it off camera.
Not illegal. It's
nothing
legal
illegal
in Illinois.
Yep.
So if I'm smoking babanya, it's legal in Illinois.
Yeah, it's actually technically legal here too.
Right. Oh, is it New York? Really?
I think so. I think they passed it not too long ago. I can't smoke it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I can't smoke it. I just, I've told those stories. I get horrible bouts of munchies. I usually get a headache from it. I've tried everything
Sounds
from.
like you're smoking some bunk.
Well, chocolate Thai was the one that I remember my friend getting me more than anything else. Chocolate Thai. When I used to go to the XPW events, I used to go to my little pipe.
If you're smoking something and all you're getting is munchies and a headache, dude, you're smoking some bunk ass weed. Yeah. You're smoking like road bud or something like that. You need to smoke something with a little purple on it.
We won't mention the wrestlers. We won't mention the wrestler's name anymore because he still works for AEW. But one of my fondest memories of working for XPW is one night, everybody was in my hotel room. Everybody was partying. And I have that VCR, the video, the camcorder tape somewhere. One day I will find it out of the box. I will edit it down as much as I can so nobody's revealed doing any horrible stuff. It's the same night, when I told the story that Danny Doring ran up and down the hotel naked, and somebody actually asked him, thinking I was lying, like, is this really true? And Danny Doring tells the person, like, yeah. He says, and by the way, tell Anthony I said hello. So it was pretty funny. But this one wrestler who is highly respected that still works for AEW, it was maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, and I big bang at my door, and I jump up, and I'm like, I thought I was in trouble. I opened the door, and it's this wrestler. He had his bag because obviously he was leaving to go home. He's like, here's your pipe back. And I fucking laughed my ass off because, he was kind enough to give me my pipe back. So I won't say who it is, but some of you know who it is. So anyway, before we get to this contest, Ken wants to say this is his apology super chat for his new friend, James Pasco. He's no Austin Nance, but James is a decent guy. James Pasco, Ken, has been a long-time friend of the show. James has been on our Patreon. He's been on Discord. James is good people. Not everybody on Discord is evil, contrary to what people think. There is some very good people, and a lot of you tuning in right now over there. It's just I am not so liked, but it's all good. It comes with the territory. But much love, Ken. Much love. Hope you're doing well. And without further ado, let's do this contest. Now, obviously, I haven't been able to put the chat room on the screen during the show because Mish and I are here live. And I haven't configured the screen yet where I can have the chat room going while we're doing the show, because this looks like a hot mess. Let's be honest. What I'm doing right now looks like a hot mess. But obviously, I have to, hold on. I have to be, just give me 1 second. I have to be transparent so everybody could see that there's a legitimate winner. That's a little bit better. Okay, this is better. I just don't want to cut Mish's face off of this, too.
Oh, you can cut my face off.
No, it's all right. I am cutting myself off. Hold on. Let's do one more thing. Sorry for the audio-only crew out there, but this is, one of the benefits of joining us with video. All right. The chat room is on the screen live right now. And somebody, all right, we could take this off for a minute. All right, so that looks good. So we could take this off. Somebody tonight, and look, if you win and you don't want this prize, you can have 2 shots at the prize wheel instead. That's fine with me. But if you want this prize, we're going to give away tonight this authentic NWO trunks signed by Eric Bischoff. That is an actual picture of Bischoff signing the trunks. I have no pictures of him wearing it, so that's it right here. And they are not worn
on his head.
Yes. I tell you, if it would have been funny if he wore them, but let me tell you something about it. Oh, and by the way, here's the sticker from the authentic place. But you know what's cool about this? Look at the inside of the trunks. The NWO is actually sewn in. It's not like an iron-on patch. It's actually sewn in, which is really nice. And a lot of people, and I brought this up before, a lot of people still don't know to this day. See the inside of the trunks? That's what was behind the Warrior storyline. His group in WCW, the One Warrior Nation. It was the opposite of the NWO. A lot of people to this day still...
Is there a little nylon in the front, like a little pea catcher? No?
No. Put it this way. Arn Anderson would be safe wearing these because there's no place for it to escape unless it fell out through the side.
So no Al Snow accidents.
No, there's no Al Snow accidents. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I have on this paper, who am I? It's very easy. In fact, I truly believe someone will answer it almost immediately.
So
I'm going to read
you. This is like the profiling game?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I'm going to start reading a little bio on a particular person in wrestling, and all you have to do is tell me who it is. Yeah.
All right.
You have to give me the person's first and last name. Do not give me only one. You have to give me the first and last name. I'm going to start reading some facts off. The first person in the chat room that guesses it correctly will win the Bischoff signed trunks. And again, if that doesn't float your boat and you want shots at the prize wheel instead, that's perfectly fine with me. And we could just ride those trunks to next week and we'll give them away next week. So, on this paper, and I do have a picture of the wrestler, who it is. So there's one hint right now. It's a wrestler. So I'm going to start reading you some facts about this person. Nothing too deceiving. Think about it. And I think somebody should win it literally like this. All right, so we all ready? You got your typing fingers ready? So here we go. I have wrestled all over the world, and this year marks my 20th year in wrestling. I am currently seen on television almost every week. Over my 20-year career, I have wrestled primarily only under two different names. Around the world, I have been a Cruiserweight champion, a Tag Team champion, an X Division champion, a Heavyweight champion, and I've even managed champions. I appeared in Ring of Honor in 2006. I also wrestled for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in 2006. Some of the wrestlers, I'm looking at the list as I'm doing this, some of the wrestlers I've defeated over the years include Ted DiBiase, Colt Cabana, Elix Skipper. Oh, we got a winner. We got a winner. All right, we could stop. We got a winner. I'll leave the screen like this so we don't go, but I will read you the rest of the facts. I appeared in Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in 2006. Some of the wrestlers I defeated over the years: Ted DiBiase, Colt Cabana, Elix Skipper, the late Chris Travis, Jody Fleisch, Johnny Storm, Kushida, Sunjay Dutt, Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, and Jeff Jarrett. I even teamed up once with Adam Cole in my career.
Ner got it. Fucking Ner. Nice.
Who got it? No.
Ner.
Oh, you think Ner got it?
Not Christopher Daniels?
Well, I'll give you a couple more facts.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. It's not Christopher Daniels.
Oh, okay.
I even teamed up with Adam Cole once in my career. In 2015, I lost a hair versus hair match against one of my best friends still in wrestling. Over the last 3 years, I have not only won titles as a wrestler, but also managed tag team champions. That should give it away. Eugene.
Wow, it's not Daniels.
Eugene.
Well, Christopher Daniels used to manage, too. That's why I was kind of, okay.
Yeah, but Eugene.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Eugene may have had an uncle in wrestling, but this person had an aunt in wrestling. Should give it away. And the final hint, well, actually, there's two. If it would have gotten this far, I would have said I'm currently married to someone who's been seen wrestling on AEW Dark recently. And the gimmick that made me a star, quotes, included an entourage which featured a female security guard, a band, and even a groupie. The person that I'm talking about is, drum roll please, Drake Maverick, also known as Rockstar Spud. And Stephen Johnson, he was the first person to get it right. So now we could go current and see everybody who is a little bit pissed off now. So Stephen Johnson, you are the winner. I thought this was a pretty good one. It was Rockstar Spud. And believe it, he's been wrestling for 20 years, dude. 20 years. 20 years. So
good one, DT.
Yeah. I try to, so really, Stefan, the big question now is, do you want the trunks or do you want 2 shots at a wheel and get cash instead? So do not feel pressured. You take whatever you want, my friend. But Stephen Johnson is the first person that got it right. So Stephen gets the prize. So we just wait for, because there's always like an 8-second delay. I don't know why, but okay, you see? Now the Bischoff tights roll for another week. We're going to do the wheel instead. Right. Look at this.
Man.
Look at this. Wow, that's pretty cool, man. The wheel. The wheel comes out. So that means next week, I wonder how Bischoff feels about this. Nobody wants his tights. Nobody wants his tights. All right, so here's the deal. You could see.
Maybe you can send it to him and have him wear them.
You know what? I should. I sent him a DM. How much would you take if you just at least wear these ones?
Yeah, just walk him around the room, Eric.
He'll block me on social media.
Pick up your clothes, put on the trunks.
He'll block me in a second.
The hotel room.
He'll be like, "What's up with this weirdo?" He'll block me in a second.
So. No. You say, "Look, you're donating it to a bunch of fans and stuff like that." There's a lot of people that want Eric Bischoff to wear these trunks.
Yeah.
Just get all that ball meat in there.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the prize wheel. I know there's a little bit of reflection only because this you could actually like erase and rewrite on it. So here's the deal. You could see on the wheel, there's prizes as much as 100. There's as little as 5. There's even some that include an extra spin. I'm just tightening these so none of them fly off. If you land on one of these that include a spin, that means you get an extra spin. Right now you have 2 spins. So even yesterday when we did it, someone landed on a spin like twice. So you land on something with a spin, it keeps going. I actually, Tony Gloss, I did take that from Press Your Luck with adding the spin. I like that. So basically he's got 2 spins now. Whatever it lands on, whatever it adds up to, that's your prize. So I wish you luck. We'll put it on the 100 just to get it going. So here we go. Spin 1. $10. So we go one more spin. You got $10 so far. There's your 10. See, 10. Good luck. $5 in a spin, so you get another spin, so you're up to 15. Good luck. Look. $5. So you got a 20 spot. One more in the house. Motherfucker. Son of a bitch.
Why would you do that?
I gave him an extra spin just for the fuck of it. Look who it landed on.
You just gave him $100, $120.
My friends,
look at you.
Stefan is long time, man. So Stefan, I thought earned an extra spin. So Stefan, you got 100.
I don't know.
No, it's 120.
$20 in the underwear.
Is it 120 or 125? No, it's 125. Yeah. There you go. Who's this? Oh, why? We need a spammer towards the end. Let's put this hide user. Okay. Bye. Hold on. We got one spammer. We don't usually get spammers here anymore, but they're gone. They're gone. So, my friend, you know how to get in touch with me. I think you are on Patreon, and if you just get in touch with me, let me know. You could either get an Amazon e-gift card, PayPal or money order. So PayPal, Amazon gift card, or money order. So good for you. Good for you. So, Mish, we're almost done. Believe it or not, we've already gone 2 hours and 19 minutes. Do you want to jet out now, or do you want to stick around and look at about 7 minutes of Indy Wrestlecrap?
Yeah, I'm probably going to jet out now. I've already done 2 hours of Wrestling Super tonight. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. And you're recovering too. So, yeah. So, my friend, thank you for hanging out tonight. Everybody. Fun.
Thank you.
And I will definitely get in touch with you tomorrow.
Excellent. Talk to you then, man.
All right. Take care, Mish. Good night, my friend. All right, everybody. Yeah, I know that's. Oh my God, look at him. He's so big on his screen. Holy shit! What the hell is this? So I'm actually just trying to. You know what? Fuck it. Let me take. I don't want to start screwing things up. Yeah, I see already. I kind of like screwed it up. So let me adjust this back. Put this over here. All right. So here's the deal, everybody. I have a little more of that Indy Wrestlecrap stuff that you all like to watch. And look at Mish's smile. If you want to jet out now, by all means you can. But if you want to check out a little bit more, and you actually may like this one, because this is 2 years earlier. This is when yours truly still did not know what the fuck he was doing at all. Some people say even years later, I still didn't know what the hell I was doing. But you will see me actually manage this guy Sabotage that I feuded with later on, and you've all seen a lot of footage of. You will see this is the day that I officially changed my name from Tony Cannoli to Don Tony, because about 2 weeks before this is when I had the incident at the USA Pro Wrestling event where I uppercutted that guy Slash with the cannolis, and I was wearing the suit, and this guy came up to me. For those that don't know the story of how I got my name, Don Tony, I was doing some horrible managing stuff for Frank Goodman and USA Pro Wrestling, but I also was collecting the tickets at the door and collecting the money. Frank trusted me with that. And there's this guy Slash, going back to XPW days, that ripped off me and a lot of other people, but he ripped off my two nephews. At the time was 6 and 7 years old. And I was looking for this guy, and I was going to do bad things to this guy. And no bullshit. A lot of you know this story already. A lot of people in wrestling were looking for this guy also. One time, God rest his soul, Bam Bam Bigelow was working a show in Jersey. Bam Bam Bigelow calls up the Mass Maniac and says, hey, I know de Blasi is looking for that guy Slash. Let de Blasi know that he's here right now at NWA Cyberspace Wrestling. So Mass Maniac calls me up. He's like, are you really going to go? I said, yeah, I'm going to go to Jersey. And sure enough, about 10 minutes after I left, you know, Bam Bam Bigelow was kind enough to tell Mass Maniac he left. He left. But this guy, you know, ripped me off for a couple of $1,000. And other things happened over the years where karma really kicked in for this guy. And I don't know how, I don't have any hate for him anymore, by the way. But he finally showed up at a wrestling show that I was at. And I was still doing the cannoli gimmick where I gave everybody cannolis. So I was at the door, and people that listened to my hotline at the time and knew the story with this guy Slash, people started coming up to me and saying, he's here, he's here. And I'm like, who's here? It's like, Slash is here. I'm like, no. They're like, look, he's over there. He's like sitting second or third row. So I see him. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. So I grabbed a couple of cannolis that were under the counter, and I started walking towards him, and it looked like Noah with the animals that followed him. All these fans are following me, walking halfway across the arena to this guy. And I go up to him, and I tap him on the shoulder, and he turns around, and he looks at me. He's like, hey, how's it going? I said, how's it going? Boom, uppercutted cannolis into his nose, spitting it up, coughing it up. And he was someone who wore sunglasses, even indoors, because he had a vision problem. I grabbed his prescription sunglasses. I said, you want these? Go outside. So I walk outside. Atlas Security is there. ECW Security, Atlas Security, they're there. And as Slash goes to confront me outside to get his glasses back, he picks up a chair and throws it across the arena, almost hits a little kid. He goes outside, and I started cursing him out, and I took his glasses and I stepped on him on the floor. And like the scene from The Godfather, I took out my money and I threw like 420s on the floor. I say, here's your fucking money for your glasses. And he just walks away. He doesn't take the money or nothing. I ended up taking the money from the floor and putting it back in my pocket. I walked back in the building. I felt like $1 million. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck him, fuck him. People pat me on the back. And one asshole comes up to me and he's like, you proud of yourself? And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, are you proud of yourself? I said, what are you talking about? You know, you hit this guy, you break his glasses, you throw money on the floor like you're some type of gangster. Like, what are you trying to prove? What do you think, you're a Don? And I said to him, I said, you don't even know what this guy did to me and did to my family. He's like, it doesn't matter. He says, two wrongs don't make a right. He says, what do you think, you're like a John Gotti or a Don? I said, yeah, I'm a Don. I'm Don fucking Tony. You got a problem with it? And the guy just walked away. And then somebody said to me, yeah, Don Tony, you fucking showed him. And that's how the name was born. So over the next 2 weeks, all over in line, people like, hey, DT, Don Tony, Don Tony. I'm like, okay, I think this actually could stick. So again, at that time, I'm still horrendous at my indie managing stuff, but I'm now doing work for VPW Wrestling. I did some work for Fat Frank. You might remember Fat Frank, God rest his soul, Jersey Old Pro Wrestling. He had his school. So I was doing work for Frank Goodman, USA Pro Wrestling. I was doing work for VPW, and I was doing work for Fat Frank in his wrestling school. You know, trying to get better. Didn't know how far it would go. But this was the first night where technically I changed my name. So what you're about to see is really not very good. But again, this is about 2 to 2.5 years before the stuff that a lot of you said was a little more manageable. So, without further ado, let's pull this up. That's a little too small. Let's put this up here. Since Mish is not on, I probably could put the chat room back on for a little bit. So let's do this. Let's do this. Hang on. Take me literally 2 seconds. Let's move this over here. The logos don't need to be on the screen, obviously. And let's just crop this down just a tiny little bit. Let's see. That goes like this. Let's see how this is. Okay, that goes like that. There we go. All right. So you guys remember Deranged? Remember the wrestler Deranged that used to hang out with what's his face? Teddy Hart. And remember there was a little controversy at one point where I think Deranged was missing or something like that. You'll actually see me wrestle this guy Sabotage. He takes on Deranged and Javier. So names that you'll notice. But the match itself, I think, was a lot of fun. So I think you'll really enjoy this match. You know, the stuff that I did later on, you know, I know we posted a little teaser at the beginning of the show, but there was a lot of other things that happened during that night, but I'm not going to show all that tonight. For now, I'm just going to give you an entertaining match to watch. So enjoy.
He just slapped Don Tony.
Oh, yeah, you didn't see that, but Deranged, actually, I got along with Deranged, and he slapped me in the head, you know, which was pretty funny, but I didn't get that on the video. So that's why when you hear them say he just slapped Don Tony, it was more of a joke than anything else.
Back of the head.
Needs to be slapped. That's Don Tony. He paid a lot. He said he paid a lot of bucks for Richie Tyler. He's expecting a win here. I think he bet like at least a couple $1,000, a couple of pounds, a couple $1,000 pounds.
Pounds?
You know how much the exchange rate is with pounds.
Yes, I do.
That's a lot of pounds.
That's a lot of pounds.
Tony is packing a lot of pounds. I think he had that foot. What did he do with that punch?
I don't know.
Packing some.
No comment.
I can't wait. Wow, I didn't know. I was expecting a one-on-one matchup between Sabotage and Javier, but now we got a triple threat match.
I mean, Deranged, I've seen this man wrestle, and I have to tell you, watch because you will be impressed.
I am so surprised. That's what
I had cut a
the
promo
great
earlier
bookers
with
of
cannolis.
pro
I
wrestling
announced my
bring.
name was going to
They bring in
be
the
Don
best.
Tony.
Fans are
I'll show it to you next
fans are
week.
excited.
Oh, they're not too happy about Sabotage.
Sabotage. He had some great matches with Richie Tyler, but you know, there's something about him. There's that underhandedness that Don Tony likes. You know, he likes those ways. What they doing? Test the strength? That's too strong. These are light heavyweights, but they're strong.
That's the strength. I've never seen this before. Oh my God! Great!
Wow! Oh, the crowd's wild. Look at the action. Oh,
This match. I mean, you cannot blink during this match.
no, you can't. Oh, look at this spin. Oh, here it is. Oh, wow. Wow, what's going on? Oh, nice. And scissor take it. The crowd's going wild. The rage bringing the energy. Oh, Richie Tyler.
Nice.
It's the Gary.
By Sabotage.
I call him Richie Tyler. I like their guy. I call him.
Don't you dare.
Oh, nice drop kick.
Don't you dare call him Richie Tyler.
Yeah, there's quite a difference. Sabotage. Oh, fly through the air. He's like,
High risk maneuver.
he's flying like a
These guys could fucking
Javier
work.
Look at this triple threat. Javier taking advantage. There's always a rest period in these triple threats. Someone's always going to be fresh during while the two are going at it. Right now, Deranged is getting a little rest, but he might need it after that quick start. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't believe Deranged is here. Oh, nice roll up. Only one count. Dragon, no, wait. Oh, yeah, another. Here's the roll up himself. Blocks the kick. Oh, wow, nice suplex. Oh, no. Deranged. Double stomp.
Oh my God!
Double stomp by Deranged.
Oh my God!
The crowd is going wild.
Oh my God!
I think he met God up there. That's how high he was.
I think I'm in danger of copyright infringement.
It's a raise, the crowd loves it. Oh my goodness. It's hot in here. The action is hot. Look at that shot. Woo. Oh, that shot back. Changing shot. Irish whip, hip toss. Oh, flip. Look at that athleticism. Oh, look at the monkey flip. Monkey flip. Oh. Woo. Oh, double knee to the face.
Goodness,
His face needs to be arranged for Deranged.
rearranged by the ring.
Rearranged by Deranged, right. Good rhyme in there. That's that poetry.
I do it like that. Many poets have come out.
No. Oh, yeah. Back to the
I
action.
think
Oh!
Javier just worked an AEW dark match, believe it or not. I think Javier did work an AEW dark match this year. Sabotage, I believe, is retired. And Deranged, I don't know.
Oh, that's the high risk that Javier takes.
Javier is not happy.
I don't know. His kids ain't happy. If he had kids. His future kids aren't happy. Oh, nice somersault flip. Nice. Somersault flip splash.
Compton.
Oh, Deranged is from Deranged from where?
Compton is the new.
He's from the NYC.
Well, Compton is the new hell.
You're right. This New York City. High risk. Javier's been up there. He's getting a nosebleed. I think I see his nosebleed. That's how high he is. Watch out for the ceiling. The veterans might not like if they break the ceiling.
Watch out, Durant.
Oh, even the shot in there. Watch the ceiling. He got him by the hair. Oh, no. Oh. Oh. And then the turnbuckle. Oh, we got him back up. Going for it. High risk. Look at Sabotage on the floor. What is going on? I'm so scared. Oh, Victor Burr. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. Wow. A freaking.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry to my words, but a Frankensteiner, a Hurricane Rana into a flip splash. To Sabotage. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I am speechless.
I had so much fun during these days. You have no idea, man.
Got the crowd wild.
These matches were pretty damn good, too.
I cannot believe what I just saw. If If you don't like that, you don't like professional wrestling. Nice. Oh, it's a Tony. Oh, it's all three. Oh, he's like, he wiped his head off.
I loved it, man.
Oh my gosh,
Kick me in the head.
I don't
Dump
think
on
he's
me
gonna
any
make
way
his
you
card
want.
game tonight.
It's all good.
I don't know. I mean, that's like a serious shot right there.
It's like dominoes going down.
Concentration playing card.
Want to see it again?
Ray just taking it
I know,
over.
I'm going to be a dick.
I
Let's
cannot
watch it one more
believe
time.
what I just saw. If you don't like that, you don't like professional wrestling. Nice. Oh, it's a Tony. Oh, it's all three. Oh, he's like, he wiped his head off. Oh my gosh, Tony. I don't think he's gonna make his card game tonight.
I don't know. I mean, that's like a serious shot right there.
It's like dominoes going down.
Concentration playing card.
Oh my gosh, DeRay just taking it over. Taking this BPW by
I'd take the bumps again. I don't care. I loved
hard
it.
kick. Oh, another one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. I can't believe it. This action's incredible.
When will I do it again? When somebody, wants me to do it again.
Oh, look at that. Nice spin kick. Amazing bicycle kick.
The best thing about it is I'm about, 60, 70 pounds lighter than before, and I can move around a hell of a lot better now than before, even though I'm older. So we'll see. Never know.
You don't need anyone else.
Well, you can always use an extra hand.
No, DeRay just made in the US. Oh, he's checking for clearance. Does he have enough clearance? He's checking. Oh, what's he going for? Oh, he misses the big elbow. High risk at the reach. That might have hurt him.
Yeah.
Javier looking for it. Taking advantage. Oh my God. Oh my God. An inverted Hurricane Rana.
Freaking landed right on his head.
I think he broke his neck. Here go first suplex. No. Sabotage. Reversal. Sabotage. Suplex of his own. Oh, brain buster. He's been watching a lot of tapes. He's been doing his homework. He's been working hard. And now he has Tony on his side. His insurance policy. Tony is the master of insurance. I heard he has a lot of insurance policies. That's his business, I believe. Oh, wow. Nice pile driver maneuver. Oh, that could have been it. DeRay pulling out tricks from no one has ever seen before. Oh, here it goes. Oh, he got him in a fireman's carry. Airplane spin. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, he broke his head. 1, 2. Oh, Sabotage breaks it up. Oh my God, did you hear the impact? That impact. He drove his head right through the mat.
Near, happy birthday, Near.
Over the top. Javier 2, 3, he got it. Javier wins. Wow, what a match. What a match.
That was an awesome match, man. Seriously.
I can't believe it. That was a spectacular match. Oh, wow. All props to all three wrestlers. Javier wins.
Do you hear me? I think he fucked up.
What's this? Sabotage. He's hurt. DeRay, she's hurt too. I can't believe the action. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're getting a little squirrel. He's protecting the fans. I think DeRay was yelling at the fans. Now Javier and DeRay are going at it. He's protecting the fans. He's like, it's okay, fans. Wow, DeRay he stole the show right there. Yeah, Javier's the victor. Much props to Javier pulling out the win. But DeRay did things I've never seen in my life in professional wrestling. Wow. I hope. But they look a little heated. Oh, wait. Javier's foul. Oh, Javier's in the back and fighting. What, Sabotage is something to say? Oh, no. Wow, what a match. I hope to see.
Mike was broken. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to kick ass. I don't think so. How do you feel now? No, he nailed me. Look. Watch. Just watch what happened. I had to get out of Dodge so fast. Watch. You see me just like roll out, race out. As the other guy hit the ring. Watch. Always got to think about the ring presence. The other guy hits the ring, you got to jet out of there. See? Bye-bye. So you're like, how do you feel now?
Did you just see that?
I couldn't open I'm speechless.
A blow up between Don-O-Mite and Sabotage, but then Reaper came to the save. What was that all about?
Jason Static challenged Reaper to a match.
Wow. Later tonight, that could be our main event. Wow.
You know what's funny about that? Let me take this off. Hang on. What's funny about that is at that time, you know, I was still considered a bad guy. Reefer was still considered a bad guy, but everybody loved Reefer anyway. These other guys were the ones that were supposed to be baby faces out of this, but the fans refused to acknowledge them as good guys. So that's what led. So, you know, in the near future, we may replay a clip here and there and make everything come together so you understand it. But, you know, for Hueco said it earlier, you know, I would love to do it again. It comes down to if these feds want me to do stuff again. That's what it really comes down to. Obviously, you know, I'm getting up there in age, so, you know, there's only so much I could do, but it's no doubt I miss it. I mean, I love it, and I would do it in a second. I could definitely handle it. I mean, I absolutely enjoyed being able to take shots. Tried to make it as realistic as possible. Even if I was not good, I always wanted to make it realistic. I didn't want to just sit there to catch a dive or this and that. I had no problem if somebody really connected, you know, to make it look a little bit more believable. But, you know, once again, I realize after all this time why there's some people out there in podcast land never wanted any of this to come to the surface. Oh, DT, he's just some old podcaster that doesn't know when to stop and this and that. And I've had a lot of years of crazy-ass fun. You know, so to be able to now, after all of these years, now for anybody that's been supporting me for all these years, imagine how annoyed you'd be at this point if I was playing this every year, every other year. I mean, this is stuff that I'm showing now for the first time. The clip you just saw is almost 16 years ago. I never showed it online. What you just saw, this is the first time I'm ever showing it. First time, ever. So a lot of people put it in my head years ago that it was horrendous, bad, pathetic. I sucked. I was terrible. I wasn't very good. But, you know, when I talk about, you know, being able to enjoy and be around it and experience some of this stuff, you know, I think some people out there, because they didn't, I think people out there never wanted this to come out. But I had a ball. I regret not doing this more. I should never have gotten out of it in 2010, but I did, and I regret it. I mean, obviously the last 10 years have been crazy with Sandy and meeting my fiance and having some health issues and the parents and other stuff, so it's not like I just sat on my ass and did nothing, but I miss it. I miss it. And, Mish is very proud of the chat. I thank Mish for coming on tonight. He's awesome. And he felt bad that he couldn't come on Monday. Now, for our Patreon family, Mish and I are doing a show this Saturday afternoon around 4 p.m. We'll be on the Patreon Discord. If any of you out there never been on our Patreon and want to give it a shot, I don't plug it much over here because I don't want to push subscriptions on anybody or, as a pay grab. But Saturday is May 1st. So if you ever wanted to sign up and try it out, Saturday is probably the best day because you'll have a full month. And I always tell everyone out there, we don't try to make a money grab out of it. $5 gives you everything. Plus, there's hundreds of Patreon exclusive episodes there that the whole archive is there. We've been doing Patreon now for like 4 years. Never realized it was that long already. Every episode we've ever done there is there. And all the shows I do during the week, you get commercial-free versions of it there as well. So, and there's other content as well. Some of you that enjoy Kevin Castle's stuff, he still has 2 shows that he does over there. So, we didn't give him the boot. Our patrons still enjoy his work. So he is still on the channel. So if you've been missing that, you could check that out too. There's a lot of stuff over there. Look, to be honest with you, I don't know how long Patreon will last. That's something that I've always been prepared for. And, YouTube, obviously, I've moved on to video and I want to build. We're still testing a lot of stuff out. There's a lot of things on YouTube I still have to learn. And I'm in the process of right now trying to be able to take calls. We're this close of being able to do it. And I'm going to be debuting a voicemail very soon. So if anybody ever wants to leave voicemails for me to answer questions, you'll be able to do that too. But little by little, I get mad when people try to compare my channel to other people on YouTube. These are people that have been on YouTube for 10 years, that have built a loyal fan base, and still about 80%, 75 to 80% of everybody who enjoys my stuff still only access audio only. They do not go on video, and that's cool. I totally respect it. But sure, if I got rid of the audio only option, people would be forced to go on YouTube to get the footage, but I don't want to screw anybody over. So my numbers on YouTube are always going to be dramatically lower than others. But the bottom line is, everybody who's tuning in right now, whether you're live and chatting, or if you're checking this out on the archive, if you enjoyed the show, that's what matters at the end of the day. That's what matters. Nothing else matters but doing a good show and having some honest, straight-up conversation. And, even topics that some people are very afraid to get into. So it's a blast as always, and it's amazing how fast the time goes sometimes. I mean, even tonight, I can't thank some of you enough for sticking around for almost 3 hours. My God. There's like virtually nothing that I stand around for 3 hours other than maybe Raw. So SR John, he sees a good amount of people making excuses like always about AEW's ratings. Saying wrestling fans went to watch the president's speech or NBA. Now, SR John, SRH John, I'll be honest with you. I do believe people watched the president make his speech yesterday. But this is how I look at it. Some weeks in wrestling, people choose to watch the news. Some weeks, some people choose to watch a basketball game other than wrestling live. Some weeks, some people prefer to watch a baseball game over wrestling, Monday Night Football over wrestling, a tragedy over wrestling. Every week, there is optional TV to watch. So yesterday doesn't make any different than any other week wow, because President Biden is the president and he doesn't talk all that often. I guarantee there's a lot of people out there that if LeBron was playing on prime time against a top-notch team, or if it was playoffs, I guarantee almost everyone out there is going to say, you know what, I actually would prefer that over watching Joe Biden give his speech. You know, the bottom line is people choose to watch something else than wrestling. Whether it's Survivor back in the day, or basketball, or Monday Night Football, or baseball, or a tragedy, or, you know, a president's speech, anything. They make it seem like if Biden wasn't on yesterday, there'd be no other TV to watch. And none of these other outlets ever use pro wrestling as an excuse. When a TV show does a shit rating on Wednesday night, do they ever say, well, AEW is on? Only wrestling fans do that. When I get into the quarter hour breakdown tomorrow, you will realize the first hour that was unopposed, there's no excuse for the numbers to be low. There's no excuse. Is that correct? What if I told you that a quarter hour during hour two, during Biden's, remember Biden's speech started at 9 p.m., not 8 p.m. First hour, there was no speech. What if I told you that during the second hour of AEW, while Biden was speaking, there was a quarter hour rating that was higher than the first hour? What excuse do you give then? Oh, there's more fans could have watched. You could use that excuse every single week. Only wrestling fans do that stuff. And again, just because 50 sites out there all do it because they know it gives them attention and hits and likes, still doesn't give me the reason to do it. Thank you, SoFly. I really appreciate it. He says, I make his Thursdays fun. I'm not shitting you. All of you make my Thursdays fun. You make my Mondays fun. Make my Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays. You know, a lot of people to this day, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was still doing shows with other hosts, there was one time that the show was going to get cut down to an hour. A lot of people will remember. We were going to do the blah, blah, blah show hour, fun hour. And the thing is that, you know, I always said my health has to come first. And the thing is that, you know, the show was on Monday was going to be trimmed down to an hour. So you can still have fun, but get all the content in an hour and get out of there. Now, remember, that was still audio only. But I also realized that, you know, it wasn't as fun as it used to be. It became like just repetition. And I always wanted to do video for an extension of myself. You see my eyes. I'm not hiding behind anything. Wanted to expand, wanted to be animated, wanted to show you footage, wanted to show you, even last week when we were joking about Terry Funk, when I got almost arrested. And the day I met Terry Funk found out about it and sent me a photo, stay out of jail, had a great time with you in Philly. You know, you tell stories like that on Twitter and you get 100 likes. Nobody knows if you're telling the truth. It sounds good. And I realized that, you know, doing audio only for 20 years, people get a certain idea of who you are. And I realized they know nothing about me. They don't see my face. They don't see my eyes. They don't see my stuff. All the stories I told in the past, I have video and picture proof of, and I can never show it because I never did a video show. And it got to the point where it wasn't fun anymore. So this was a new challenge, and everybody who's with me still embraced it. And I can't thank you enough for it. And that's why I still do it. There are people to this day that still pray for my demise with these shows, are still very bitter that all I wanted to do is just expand and branch out and have a little different extension of myself. And people still to this day. And then the sad thing about it is, you know, when I first announced that I was going to go video in the fall of 2019 is when I made the announcement. There were people out there, oh, good luck, best of luck. If you need any help, you know, I'm there for you, this and that. Oh, appreciate it. And behind my back was saying some of the most disgusting stuff. Now, me, look, I'm an asshole over the years, so some of the things I probably deserved. But the point is that so many people revealed to be backstabbers, making fun of me, making fun of, I want to be a YouTube star and all this other stuff and saying shit. And I always said to myself, there's going to be one day where some of these people are going to want to do something themselves and they're going to want everyone else to support that. And I'm saying to myself, and then all of a sudden it's okay. And it's just reminds me of politics. You see what goes on in the political world. It's all politics. You see when Trump is around, this is good, this is bad, this is this is that. And the minute he's gone, what was bad before is now good, and what was good before is now bad. And people twist it and spin it. And the vaccine has been one of the biggest culprits of that. So, yeah, you're right, Hueco. Haters are going to hate. And I know some of you out there are tired of a lot of the bullshit. But the bottom line is at the end of the day, we got something special going on over here. I have a blast. I love hanging out with all of you and being able to, do this. And I'll continue doing it. Obviously I talked a little bit earlier about some issues that I have right now health-wise. Whatever it is, I'm going to have to deal with it. If I don't deal with it, then DT's got a major problem down the line. But as long as I can physically still do this stuff, I'm going to be here for all of you. Loyalty and respect are two very, very, very important things to me. And, you realize sometimes who your friends truly are and who aren't. And, I take notice of who is around and who isn't. I take notice of, who always happens to be noticeably absent when, good things are announced or even when bad things are announced. And then when it dies down, then people will make an appearance only because they realize that everybody knows they didn't make an appearance, I mean, it just sucks. I see a lot of you going through bullshit on social media. I see a lot of your posts about wanting to shut your accounts down. You just gotta, use it as like food. Use it as like a drive. Use it as nutrition. If somebody wants to fuck with you, or if somebody really gets bitter at something you're doing good, don't get consumed by it. Don't even let it get you down. Use that as ammunition. If I'm doing this now on here for a year and a half almost, and still to this day, there's a handful of people that the minute I make an announcement that I'm doing a show, like I can only imagine them at home giggling that they race to go on YouTube to give it a thumbs down. And we're not talking about 10-year-olds here or 15-year-olds. We're talking about grown-ass adults that have notifications on. So whenever I do a show, they could be the first one to give it a thumbs down. I realize that after all of this time, there's some people out there that they're that upset about it. I must be doing something good. Or there must be an extreme amount of jealousy going on. And honestly, I feed off of that now. And so, SRH, John, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate it, my friend. I thank you very much. And you want to know something, dude? No bullshit. I'm probably going to take my fiance out on Saturday because this week sucked. It really did suck. I mean, the good part is I think we finally figured out what this pain is. The bad news is, you get that word that there's a problem with the prostate. So I got to handle it. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I said earlier that my father beat it, my two uncles and my grandfather beat it. So, runs in the family that they get it, but it also runs in the family that they beat it. So when you do a show with Mish earlier, like me, and Mish is telling me, oh, my grandfather died from it, and this person died from it, it doesn't put your confidence level, and it wasn't intentional in its part, but, I understand the severity of it. Let's just hope that this is like 2 years ago. But one thing I will not do is I'm not going to let it carry into the show. I gave everybody an update today. because we talked about it last week. And I know a lot of you out there wanted to know what the results were. So I gave it tonight. Don't expect me to bring it up tomorrow. Don't expect me to bring it up Monday. If something else happens, good or bad, then yeah, I'll update. But I'm not going to, use this as a talking point or for attention. It sucks, but we'll get through it. It's all good. But I will tell you, thank you, John, again for that. But Saturday, yeah, after everything that went on this week, probably after my Patreon show is done, I'm going to just tell my fiance, honey, let's go to the diner. Let's go here. Let's just get out of the house. In fact, you'll probably even see me post a picture on social media with a drink. I could probably use a drink. So I'm a little wired still from this coffee soda earlier, but it's good. It's really good. If you out there like coffee and you like Coca-Cola, of course I drink the sugar-free version of it, but it's pretty good. I mean, they have a vanilla version and they have a regular version. I've tried the vanilla sugar-free. I didn't like it. The regular one really tastes good. Manhattan Special used to be one of my favorite sodas to drink, coffee soda. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of Manhattan Special. But if you're a fan of Coca-Cola and you like coffee, if you could find it locally in your store, pick one up and try it. I think you'll actually like it. So, Near, thank you very much. Austin, Hueco, Soulfly, Lee, and Charlie, and everybody else tuning in. I'm going to jet out of here. We're at the 3-hour mark, everyone. It's time to go to sleep. So I'm going to get myself try to get a good night's sleep. On the way out, if you don't mind, yes, I ask you, give it a thumbs up before I jet. And if you tuned in late, go ahead and watch the replay. Thank Mish for coming on again. Had some fun convo with him tonight. And the Bischoff trunks, they carry on for another week. Something tells me I'm going to have these trunks for months. I may actually have to have Bischoff put them on. But it's all good. It's all good. Had a great time tonight. If you're around tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m., I'll be back here. Tomorrow we're covering SmackDown. We're going to do the quarter-hour ratings for AEW and NXT, and then we'll get into all the updates for WrestleMania Backlash. I don't think we'll have anything else on the agenda, but if something else comes up that we really need to talk about, we will. So I'll be here 10:05 p.m. Eastern. You're more than welcome to join me. And everyone, have a great night. Much love. Thank you, Mish, for coming on tonight. Usually Thursdays are solo, and they'll be solo pretty much for the future. But, if you all want Mish to come back from time to time or others, I will definitely oblige. So good night, everybody. Take care.